something that happened on a previous show sometimes get brought up, and but yeah, something
Hmm.
like a Game of Thrones, man.
Yeah, that was worldwide.
Yeah, that was I just don't watch. I don't watch the shit anymore, man. I used to go when I went to college. I used to go to the movies. I set up my schedule so it'd be a heavy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I
Smart.
have a
Yep, that's
half
what I
day
used to
Wednesday, Friday off, and every
do.
Friday
Yep.
I went to the movies in the morning or early afternoon, and it'd be me and like three other old people. So I love movies that much, but over like the last 7 years, I just watch maybe like one a year or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make time nowadays. Shit.
And plus, gaming is such a complete thing where you're getting a
Yeah.
great story, great music, great
Hmm.
gameplay. So it's like, why would I invest, 2 hours? What's up, RPG? When I can just invest 10, 15 hours and be part of the
Exactly.
story.
Exactly. Because I'm like, oh, this movie's gonna come out. Oh, it looks pretty good. I might go see it. But then I'm like, oh wait, that's the same day that this game that I want to play is coming. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, that's how it be. I'm just tweeting this out real quick. See if anybody shows up today, man. Every week, I've like, I don't think nobody's going to come. But then every week, more people come. I don't understand it.
Because you have a good podcast. Duh.
No, that's what they say.
Yeah. It's because it's facts.
And also at the 2 hour mark, we're cutting this bitch off because I gotta get to gaming.
Real shit.
I don't want to be like these Xbox guys having 47 spaces 4 hours long about the possibility of exclusives when they know damn well ain't no fucking
Yo,
exclusives.
they're coming, bro. You gotta believe.
Yeah,
You gotta believe.
I'm gonna read
We believe in you, Asha.
a tweet from Tim Dog. Like
Oh,
the delusion is fucking insane, but we'll read it. That's just gonna be funny. Uh, Writing this damn tweet out, sharing this stream. See who's gonna come hang out with us. RPG knows what tweet I'm talking about because I shared it with him earlier. Um, PlayStation. There's a whole bunch of new games too. We're gonna be talking about uh Lord of the Rings game, Jedi 3,
yes.
uh Donkey Kong Lego. All right, tweet is shared, or I'm just double checking it. Hold on. All right, bam, posted. You know me, I misspell every fucking thing or I fat finger it. I think that shows right there how I don't have the patience for shit because almost all the shit that I type out, it's always a misspelling of sorts.
It's all right. They get the point.
They do. I mean, if they can read these acronyms, fucking JLKUF, and understand what the fuck that means, and they can understand the difference between what and WZAT. Okay, you'll be fine. But yeah, y'all, we have Morgan in the house. We're gonna introduce her in a second. For those of you guys that are new, Nelson, it's gonna be late, as he said numerous times. He's got his kids um wrestling on Sundays, which started I think last week or the week before, and it's a little bit of a drive for him, so he'll show up here soon. But we're not gonna wait for him because who knows how late he'll be. But man, we have some great topics to go over today. And what's cool about today's podcast is that we should really be talking mostly about games. We got some pretty cool announcements this week. and confirmations from studios on games that they're working on. And I'm excited because some of these are highly anticipated games by me, or studios that do highly anticipated games by me. I know a studio that Morgan really likes. It was her game of the year last year. Is making a game that is confirmed. So
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting. I'm going to be asking Morgan about the state of play. And yeah, so it's going to be a great, great show. We're also going to talk about the security issues um, that's been happening, the hacking, shit like that. We're going to hopefully give you guys some understanding of exactly what is happening because I've seen some misinformation, which is nothing new on social media. But unfortunately, a lot of it is true as well. So we're going to get into all that today. We're supposed to have Rome here as well, but he hasn't accepted our call outs. So we'll see what happens. See if he hops in a little bit later. But it's going to be a good one, gamers. Um, oh, look at that. Morgan is so good at her job. Tweeted it out and everything. I normally got to yell at Nelson. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, RPG, I agree with you, man. I agree. 100%. F cuck dog. And not personally, because I don't fucking know none of these people, but as gamers, definitely. Definitely professionally. My saying is, or it's not a saying, but I don't know if it's a motto either, but maybe it's I don't fucking know, a kind of way of looking at things. If you're willing to be this outrageous in one aspect of your life, it always bleeds into the other aspects of your life. Now, I'm not saying if you're a fucking drug addict, you're a completely piece of shit. No, you just have a problem. But that problem bleeds into other parts of your life, ruins relationship, careers, shit like that. These people on social media, if they're that illogical about gaming, something that is supposed to be fun, then how illogical are they in their personal lives? It's scary. I would never associate with somebody like that. I wouldn't, I couldn't trust, I couldn't be able to feel safe in their presence with their behavior. That's insane. So I agree with that 1,000%. I'm just glad it's Memorial Day weekend. We ain't got shit to do tomorrow for most of us at least.
Turn up.
What up, Miku? How you doing? Either way, let's get this thing on the road, Morgan. We're wasting daylight.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the State of Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Will 777JP, and today we have another episode for y'all, man. And as I mentioned a little bit ago, we are going to be discussing some very interesting topics today. We'll even talk a little bit about the Xbox showcase, Jeff's showcase. If anybody has any interesting opinions or whatever they want to say about that one. We're also going to be talking about PlayStation security and all this hacking shit that's been happening. We're also going to be talking about games that got confirmed. We got Donkey Kong Lego, which I really wonder if it's a Donkey Kong game or if it's just another Lego piece. I think it's a Donkey Kong game, but we'll talk all about that. We're also going to talk about Lego in specific because Lego Batman just came out. It's been killing it. People are loving it. I've been playing it as of last night or today, actually, not last night because I beat Yakuza last night. And we're just going to talk about Lego in general and video games. And Jedi 3 may have been confirmed accidentally by Lucasfilm. So that's going to be all interesting stuff that we're going to get into today. And in order to help me talk about these topics, we have Miss Morgan, who decided to accept the invite that we reached that we sent her yesterday, which was extremely last minute. But I appreciate, oh my God, I can't even talk. You're making me nervous, Morgan. I appreciate her being here. Morgan, how are you and what have you been playing?
I am great, sir. Thank you for asking. But yeah, I'm always willing to accept the invite. I love being on the show. But yeah, what have I been playing? This has been a crazy month, or honestly, just a crazy year of just games. Really don't understand people who say there is nothing to play because my God, I've been so
Flames.
busy trying to juggle the amount of games that have been coming out right now. Um, but yeah, just to go on for your screen, one of the games that I have also been playing is Pragmata. Great game.
Love it.
Um, Initially I was on the fence, when they initially showed Pragmata. Not the first time because they didn't really show much, but like a title screen and kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Hugh and Diana walking. But when they first showed off like the gameplay and what it was going to be, I was kind of like, I don't really understand this. Like the hacking, I don't understand how that's going to play out. Like I don't really know if I'm going to like that. Like, something different. And I was like, I don't know how fluid that's going to be, when you're actually playing the game. But this is what I love about Japanese developers. They love their demos, right? So Capcom put a demo out there, gave it a chance, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand this now. It, it
Same.
it it was fluid. It felt good. Like I was like, okay, I'm kind of like it's almost turn based in a way. Like you're just, you're really having to pay attention and making sure that you're, you know, clicking the right buttons in order to hack the robot, right? And
Mm-hmm.
especially when you start getting a bunch of enemies coming at you at one time, that's when it can get like really
Yep.
intense. And I really love how they integrate a lot of different skills and abilities to help kind of tackle the multitude of enemies that you can face. Because I was wondering, like, okay, so when there's like five or six or like a big enemy, and then they got their little minions trying to come at you, and it's like so much going on the screen. How are you going to be able to, hack all of these, enemies at once without getting like overrun? Right. And I love like the perks of like being able to hack multiple enemies at once, or like being able to stun enemies with like electric shock, and like the different type of weapons that you have that can like, one the gun that can form a net and like slow
Oh,
enemies
yep.
down.
The stasis, I
Yeah,
think it's
like
called.
I just love how there's just so many perks and weapons that you can use to your advantage to kind of help you, and you can kind of go back to your hub, your base of operations, and switch out the guns based on what you need. Like sometimes I'll go out and I'm like, oh, especially if I'm going like a red room or something,
Yep.
and they kick my ass. And I'm
Yep.
like, okay, so this particular red room are these enemy types, so I'm gonna need the stasis gun, I'm gonna need like my shotgun, and I'll probably need this particular perk and this other perk that I got, and I can switch it out and change it to based on what I need at that particular moment and for that particular level, right?
Yeah, you get to
So
do
I
redo
love
your
that.
loadout almost all
But
the
yeah, I'm
time.
really digging. Exactly. You get to change it for what you need, right?
Yep.
Like okay, like I said, like one level you may need one type of gun and a type of hack, and another level you need a completely different setup, right?
Yep.
But that's the great thing about the game. You can always come back and change it. But yeah, really good game. Really enjoying the gameplay, even though initially I didn't know if I would like it. But again, that's why I am a big proponent of demos, and I wish more Western studios would embrace demos too. Um, but yeah, enjoying Pragmata. I think I'm like 75% of the way through it. But again, more games came out, and so I had to, me and my freaking ADHD, like I put it to the side when I probably shouldn't have. When I probably should have just powered through
You
it
should have. Yeah.
because something new and shiny came out, and I once
Mm-hmm.
again got distracted. And that's Coffee Talk Tokyo. I'm not gonna spoil it because I know I'm not gonna say anything about the
Don't you
story, but I
fucking dare.
I know you're looking forward to it, so I will not say anything. All I'll say is I'm really enjoying the story
Hey,
for it.
but that example that you said
Obviously,
on your
always
show
enjoy making
yesterday,
the different drinks.
was it yesterday when you
Hmm.
were talking about it?
Yeah, yeah.
Where the kid or the parents working so much,
Hmm.
and then the kid is like the relationship now that their kids got kids. Like that's a great
Yeah.
example of the kind of stories that that game tells, and you just
Exactly.
activated something in me when you said that yesterday. I was like, fuck, am I going to be able to withhold till fucking September or August whenever the physical comes out?
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know it was that long. Oh
Yeah, yeah,
wow.
it's a while.
Um, damn. But yeah, that's kind of the one of the things I really love about Coffee Talk is like they're such grounded, real stories that everybody can relate to, and it's not in the overly preachy way or in a way that's like cheesy or it's like oh they're trying to talk about some stereotypical thing or something, right? It's like it's just very relatable stories from a cast of characters who are just coming into a coffee shop and here to get a beverage but walk out with life advice, and it's really great because
And the mini
you get to
game's
hear.
fun.
Yes, the mini game is really fun. Just making the different drinks, and then of course like the challenge mode where you can just make as many drinks as you want.
Hmm.
You know, try out the different things, the stencils, the latte art,
Bro, I
which
love
I'm
Coffee
terrible at.
Talk. I have the first Coffee Talk. I bought the physical by itself, just it came with the game. And
Hmm.
it wasn't even like a print from anywhere. It was a print that somebody made themselves. Like,
Oh
I don't know
wow.
how they did this. I mean, it could be bootleg, who the fuck knows? But I got that first. And then when the collector, it's not the collector's edition, but it's like a deluxe type of
The
edition.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I
Hmm.
bought both that one and the hibiscus one. So they're both sealed up because I already have them digital. But I got them in the collection, taking up a ton of
Yeah, see,
space.
that's what
Love
I
it.
want. Yeah, I wanted that bundle edition where they bundled the Coffee Talk 1 and 2 together. But
Hmm.
then right when I was gonna get it, they announced like the Tokyo was coming. I was like, okay, I wonder if they're gonna do like a triple bundle,
Yeah, a
right?
three
Where it's
piece.
like
I
all
probably
three of
will.
them. So I was like, okay, I'll wait until they do that, and then I'll get the one that has them all. But then, of course, I get that, and then they release like a Coffee Talk 4 or some shit.
Eh.
But it's okay. It's okay.
But I will
Because
recommend you
I
get it because we never know now. I mean, with the next gen coming
yeah,
out, things going more
yeah.
digital, like who the fuck knows? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you
No, no, you're
off.
good. You're good. You're good. You're good. But yeah, I absolutely love Coffee Talk. If anybody's looking, and it's, the thing about the game is it's very cheap as far as like the price. It's only like what,
Hmm.
$15, and I think if
Yeah.
you get it digitally, and if you have PS Plus, it's even cheaper. It's like 12 because they give you like a PS Plus discount. But if anybody likes this laid back kind of cozy games where it's just like a vibe and you're looking for like a really good story with a nice cast of characters and they're just real human stories while you're making and serving cool coffee drinks and tea and things, I highly recommend Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk 1, 2, and now this new one, Coffee Talk Tokyo. And I think Coffee Talk 1 and 2 are on PS Plus, if I'm not mistaken. At least one is. So if you have PS Plus, get it, try it out. Highly, highly recommend. And I'm loving Tokyo so far. So yeah. I think I'm almost done with that. Like I think there's like 14 days in Coffee Talk Tokyo, and I think I might be on like 10 or something.
Is it
I
the
could be
same
wrong, but
owner
I'm
of the
close to
shop
being
or
there.
is it a different
Um
like
no, because the originals you were in Seattle,
yeah.
and this is a completely different barista in Japan
Okay.
now. But there are some kind of crossover, but I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
yeah, you'll see. But the big one that I've been very much looking forward to, one of my most anticipated games of the year, alongside with Coffee Talk because I love fucking Coffee Talk and it was highly anticipated. But the really big one, Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight has finally arrived. And for me, someone who is I'm a big Batman fan. Um, Loved all the movies, whether we're talking about like, you know, Pattinson, Nolan, Tim Burton, whatever. I don't care. I'll take Adam West. I don't care. I just love Batman. And someone who's a big Arkham fan, the Arkham trilogy, absolutely adored the Arkham trilogy. You know, and unfortunately, we know what Rocksteady has
Turn
become,
into
and exactly. Um, and I tried to give them a chance with Suicide Squad, but y'all know that's a whole thing. And I just couldn't. Tried it out for the alpha, was completely disappointed, and then we see how that went. But here came this Lego game from TT Games, right? And one of their big marketing pushes and points of that they marketed for was the fact that it was going to be having the kind of heart of the Arkham combat, right? That free flowing combat that anybody who is a Arkham fan knows well and loves, right? Um, and so, seeing it, I was like, "Oh my god, this looks so good." And I'm also a Lego games fan. I really enjoyed. I know people have, their feelings about the Lego Star Wars saga,
Skywalker Saga.
trilogy pack. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it cuz and that probably is also because I'm a Star Wars fangirl as well. so
Dude, stop
so it's
copying
like,
all my likes. Damn,
yeah.
bro.
I love Star Wars.
Me
Not so
too.
much the recent shit, but
Yeah. Bro, me too. Stop
yeah.
it.
But yeah, Star Wars fan, so I had to get that, and I
Wait,
really
what
enjoyed.
about Grogu? You fuck with that one, Mandalorian?
I do. I didn't. I wasn't particularly a fan of the last season, but I
Me
do want to see
neither.
the movie. But I've been hearing kind of iffy things about that as well. So
I mean,
I'm
I
just
don't
like,
like the actor. What's his name? I just
Pedro.
think Pedro. Like he's a good actor. I just don't like
Hmm.
him. Like I think he's weird, but I like his acting. I just,
Yeah.
but yeah, I like Grogu. Same thing. I didn't really fuck with the third season. I mean, fuck, Mando is my profile pick on everything.
It's real. That's real shit. How do you feel about shit, the recent show that came out? Did you watch the Star Wars Mall?
No, I haven't
Shadow Lord?
watched. I haven't watched nothing since the last, like, I don't know, three
Okay, if you
years.
have Disney Plus, this is the animated. This is animated like the backstory of like Maul, Darth Maul. It
Okay.
is so good. Like the animation quality for this show and the quality of the writing, production, like this is kind of like the best thing that they've put out for Star Wars in a long time. And I'm like my jaw just drops every time I look at the animation because they put so much work into it. It's from the same people that did the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series, I believe.
Oh, I love the Clone Wars.
Yeah, so this is them doing Star Wars Mall, and the first season's done, so you could just binge that. Yeah, I'm
Nice.
pretty sure it's done if you want. So you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
But sorry, went on this tangent. But anyway, really enjoying. I picked up, got it for the digital deluxe, so I can get the 48 hours early access.
Mm-hmm.
Started the game. One of my biggest worries was for this game. The quality looked great, but I was really worried about the performance. Ever since they put out that PC spec sheet that was ridiculous for the specs that they were
Yeah.
requesting for just for me for reaching the minimum, I was like, oh my god, what the hell is it going to be on consoles, bro? And then there's no pro patch or anything. There's no pro support. So I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. So
Yeah.
that was my played it. That worry just went out the window. Like it runs butter smooth. I'm playing on performance mode 60. And I'm telling you, like the as far as the quality of how it looks, the fidelity, the textures, the lighting, you know, Gotham at night with the rain and like the neon signs and all that stuff. Like the game is just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Like I've taken so many pictures within like the first 3-4 hours of the game because I was just in awe. Like when, especially with the cutscenes where they zoom in on the Lego figures, you can see like the little etches, like little kind of mini micro scratches on the Lego, and you can see like the quality cloth of like if you ever had a Lego with like a cape or any kind of
Mm-hmm.
clothes, they have that certain
Yep.
texture cloth, and you can see that detail in this game, and it's just like I'm like, oh shit, they really went all out. Um, and of course, the main thing, the story, I'm really enjoying it. Obviously this isn't going to be like A1 CD Project Red Witcher 3 type writing, right? But I think it serves well. It does really good of meshing the different you know uh history of Batman together, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the movies to the comics. Because I've been reading a lot of fuck the shit, the Absolute Batman comics. And the references to Absolute Batman in there are great too. And I'm trying to get the Absolute Batman outfit, which is kind of connected to the zoo side missions, which I thought were a cool touch. Because of the origin story of Batman in the Absolute Batman comics is related to the zoo. Um, but just like the little mini references that they have in there that are not only that surface level Batman fans would understand, right? People who just kind of maybe watch Batman casually would understand certain references, but even like the hardcore stuff that you really have to be deep into Batman lore to kind of catch, they had that in there too. So I'm like, you could just feel the love of Batman lore that these developers have, right? Because
Mm.
you really have to have a deep love for Batman to be able to put in all these references and all of the funny quirky things that Lego games have, I'm sure people have seen the trailers with the references to like the Batman, the Robert Patterson version. They even have like the music, when Penguin's car flips and
Yep.
Batman's walking up to him. And you see that shot of the boots that dun, 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 dun. Like it was just so good. I was laughing so hard. Like the jokes in there, the corny Lego jokes. I love them.
Yeah.
The voice acting is so, right? I mean, it's not Kevin, obviously. Like I said, RIP Kevin, but it serves a purpose. It serves its purpose and it's fine. Like I can ignore it enough to just enjoy the game. But the combat though, great. I'm enjoying it. It's that free flow Arkham combat that you've played in the Arkham games. Obviously, it's not going to have every little detail because the Arkham you're playing as like a human who is a lot more flexible than a Lego piece.
Mm.
So you're not going to have all the acrobatic stuff, but the core of what made the Arkham combat fun is there, and you have all the upgrades that add like the flips and the cool finishers and things like that into it. Like you can sit on the perch and you know jump down and assassinate quote unquote enemies and things like that. Stealth takedowns and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's great. I'm really enjoying Lego Batman, and I'm like 12, 14 hours in. And I think I'm only like halfway through the game. And obviously I'm exploring like the open world of Gotham and everything like that. And it runs great. I'm riding around in the different Batmobiles and, pummeling through Gotham and stuff. And it's nice to see a Gotham that's actually full of people. Because we know with the last Arkham game we had, obviously our Gotham was empty because of the whole Scarecrow. He released the gas,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's nobody in Gotham, and it's just you and the goons around. But it's nice to see civilians walking around in there and the city kind of full. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Lego Batman. It's definitely meeting and it's like slightly exceeding my expectations for this. So yeah, gaming's great. I'm enjoying every single game I'm playing right now, so I'm always happy when that's the case. So
Dude, you're a nerd.
I
You
am.
fucking
I
comic
I
books, Star Wars,
listen.
fucking. I mean, we
Yes.
even talked
I
about Lord of the Rings, video games.
yes.
Sheesh.
Yes. I am a huge ass nerd. I don't care. I love it. I love it.
I fuck with it. Everything that you've named. I mean, look, I'm a fuck. Well, I'm not the extreme nerd because I don't read comic books. I never did. I mean, I do
Mhm.
own some comic books, like for the Guardians of the Galaxy. I own those because I fucking
Mhm.
love Guardians of the Galaxy. But I don't like. I think my biggest problem, like we were talking earlier, that I'm impatient, and
Mhm.
sometimes to find the comics are a pain in the ass. And like we have a comic book store not that far from my house, actually. It's probably like half a mile away, but they're always out of the one that I want. So it's like, oh man, and I don't want to fuck with it digitally because it's like nothing
Yeah, it's
better
not the
than
same.
paper in your hand,
Yeah, it's not the
and the
same.
art
Like I have a whole
pops.
binder full of Spider-Man comics right here under my desk.
Yeah, see, yeah, I fuck with that.
I love it. I just love this type of shit. Like,
What up, Henry? What up, hero? So yeah, man, Morgan has been gaming her ass off. Which honestly, if you are a hardcore gamer, you should be too. And not even if you're a hardcore gamer, if you're just a gamer, you should be too. Because I am not a big Batman. I'm not a big superhero fan. Anything, except maybe, but not even hardcore. It's just I like them a lot, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. I've been playing Lego Batman as well, which I started today. So I only got, I got done with the tutorial kind of, where you go up the mountain, you do that whole fight and then you get into the city and meet Detective Gordon. I think I did the scene where you're chasing. I don't think they called him Pigwin. I think they called him something else. Right in the beginning with the whole trucks blowing up behind them and shit.
Yeah.
But I just got done with that
Oswald
part.
Cobblepot.
Oswald, yes, Cobblepot. There you go. What up,
Mm-hmm.
the pews? Preacher. But yeah, I've just beat Yakuza yesterday. Yakuza Zero, my first time
Oh.
playing a Yakuza game ever.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
It's a good one
it's
to start with.
yeah, it's a dope game. I had a good time. Nelson was surprised because I beat it in like 50 hours. And he's like, bro, that game took me like 120. Well, in Nelson's defense, he's a fucking slow ass gamer. Like, you know, if we didn't have social media so he can Google shit, he would probably be stuck in fucking level one of every game for 10 hours. But I did a lot of the side quests, Kiryu, when you start off as Kiryu, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of didn't do many with Goro. Um, like I invested a lot in Kiryu, and as soon as the game switched, I wasn't mad at it, but I like, damn, I invested so much time in Kiryu that I don't, you know what? So I kind of avoided a ton of the side content from Goro's side, and I would say I did about 60-70% on Kiryu's side. So I didn't do everything. The game is huge, and I didn't want
Okay.
to.
So you
I
did like
didn't
the real estate side
Oh
missions?
yeah,
Or did you, yeah.
I
You
did
did the
all
cabaret?
almost. I did the cabaret, I did the real estate, and a whole
Yeah.
bunch of the little side ones that you come across people, you know, like the fucking high school girl selling her panties.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
what the
That's an
fuck? This?
actual thing, bruh.
Yeah, I
Like when
know
I
it
went to Japan,
is.
there was a whole vending machine. I was just like, oh,
Yes, so I did that
that's
one.
that's okay.
The whole secret password. You fucking, you know what I mean, to buy it to that dude in the alley where he's like, "What's the password?" I did that one.
Mm-hmm. You
I
did the
did
little
a few of
The
them.
Sega arcade games.
Sega arcade games. I did
Yeah.
the little kid who got the game stolen by the teenager who got the
Oh,
teenager
yeah,
got the
yeah,
game
yeah.
stolen by the other guy.
Karaoke,
Yes.
disco.
Yep, the disco karaoke, all that. It's a lot of fun. But there was so I missed out on a couple little side ones. Like there was one about the mom asking. Oh no, I did that one too. Fuck, I almost did all of them actually. Now that I think about it. But what's cool about the game is when you start doing the real estate, you can start writing postcards with those stories of the side missions that you do,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool as fuck because when you do most side or side content in any game, okay, you complete it, you get some XP, maybe you get some sort of, you know, thing, right? A sword or whatever, a ribbon for completing it, but it's usually doesn't fucking matter. But in Yakuza, when you do the side content and you write the postcard, you're kind of reliving it again, and it's super cool that how they did that. But yeah, I've been playing that for the last week and a half, and then I've been playing. What else have I been playing? Oh, Lego, which I mentioned, and I think that is about it. I'm sure I've dived into a couple games. Alien with the guys on Tuesday. We're excited for the new Aliens coming out in a couple months. But the next week, we got 007 dropping. We also
Yes.
have, what was the other one? Not next week, but like the following week, we have maybe not the follow. Either way, we have a ton of games coming. I can't remember all of them because there's so many. So if you're the type of person, once again, that says, there's nothing to play. Yeah, it's because you're a ball and gun player, bro. It's real simple. Just admit it. And if you're a ball and gun player, you're never gonna have anything to play except your ball game that drops every year and your gun game that gets updated live service. Because let's be honest, games like Pragmata don't happen. And Morgan, did you know how Pragmata came to be?
I do not.
So this is the genius of Capcom. So they wanted to do a new IP, but what they didn't want to do is they didn't want to pull all their veterans into making Pragmata because they got Resident Evil, Tech, they got not Tekken, but Street Fighter. They got all these other games that they are, very popular. So what they ended up doing is they kind of created a small section in the studio where they put all the newbies to work on this game. So everything you're seeing in
Oh, that's cool.
Pragmata is from all new developers, the junior guys.
Oh,
Which
wow.
yeah, super cool. I mean, they had an
Damn.
overseer. I think the guy who not invented Resident Evil, but one of the top guys that's been working on Resident Evil since the 90s. He was kind of in charge of the group and making sure that they were, I mean, doing what they had to do. But when they announced the game, because some people say, oh, they announced the game too early. Well, they did that on purpose. The reason they announced the game so early is to put pressure on them to say, hey, the thing's out there. People know about it. What are you going to do now? Is this going to be a game that we got to cancel? Or is this a game that you're going to complete and you're going to satisfy the customer? Like, it's up to you. And when I
Hmm.
found out about that, I just think that's so cool because, when you're a junior person at your job, school, whatever, you normally aren't under very much stress. And something, if you're a parent, you know this, you want your kids to fail in a controlled environment because you're able to control it better than them failing out in the world, and the consequences could be heavy, right? But when they do it in a controlled environment, it's really easy for you to support them. It's real easy to get them to, jump back on their feet and try again. And I think this is a situation that Capcom also did with these young developers. They're like, look, if they fucking fail, we could just pull, 30 from this studio, 30 from this part of the studio, 30 from this part of the studio, and have them finish the game up and we'll put it out anyways, right? But they didn't do that. They hang tight. They let the young people do their thing, and the game was a banger. But yeah, I played the game for the first time on PC on the demo because the demo came out on PC first, and it felt really good. All the things that you mentioned, and then I replayed the demo on PlayStation when it came there, and I loved it. First time I beat a demo, I don't play demos to complete. I play demos to get the feel. The last demo
Understandable.
that I did that with was Final Fantasy 16, and I
Yeah.
immediately I pre-ordered that thing. Like I loved it. The
Yeah.
whole
I
dragons,
was because
everything.
the same. I was on the fence with 16, but I was like, okay, there's a demo, right? Nothing to lose, right? Let me try
Hmm.
it out. And I tried it. I said, oh, okay, yeah, I'll be pre-ordering. Okay, I got it. Got the
Yep.
plat on that. I was like, yep. All right.
And mind you, I never played a Final Fantasy game up
Same.
until
Same.
16. Oh, you too? Hey, dude,
Mhm.
stop being like me. Damn, bro. Great minds think alike.
Always.
Well, let's continue with the game talk because there's three games that this week basically got confirmed. And that is Lords of the Ring. And that one is interesting, not because it's Lord of the Rings. It is Lords of the Ring. I mean, Lords of the Rings is interesting because it's one of the biggest IPs in history. But what's interesting about it is that the people making Lord of the Rings, that's the interesting part about it, which now has me excited for Lords of the Ring. And the studio that is making Lords of the Ring is the same studio that made Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2. So we're going to talk about that real quick, but also want to mention the other games that we kind of got announced this week as well. The second game is Jedi 3. So we got Jedi Fallen Order and then Jedi Survivor, which I absolutely love the first one. I like the second one, and I'm definitely looking forward to a third one. But that is a game that I will always remember because I played it on Christmas when it released, and it's one of those like you're off during the week and you wake up early in the morning, no work for the next week, and you're just excited. And I popped it in, and bam, the game hit. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. And the way that got announced is Lucasfilm kind of spilled the beans on that one while doing some sort of interview or something like that, or talking about upcoming products, or upcoming projects, and they kind of let it slip a little bit there, which we all kind of knew. I mean, Jedi sells extremely well for EA, and we all knew it was going to be a third one. And then the third game, which was kind of a snip, was Lego Donkey Kong. Now, the argument back and forth online has been: is it going to be an actual Lego Donkey Kong, or is it going to be a Lego set of Donkey Kong? I think it's a Lego Donkey Kong game because why would Nintendo make a big deal out of it? Normally, Nintendo or Legos would just tweet it, whatever, make an article, be done with it. But let's focus a little bit on Lego before we get into the Kingdom Come Deliverance studio because Lego has been on fire recently. One of the last Lego games that I played that I was actually kind of disappointed in was the Lego Horizon game. I enjoyed it, but I didn't really like it too much. But we are starting to see Lego really expand to the video game industry. And not only did they make Lego Horizon, but also Lego Horizon was one of the first, or actually the first PlayStation IP that kind of went everywhere outside of MLB The Show. And that's the power that Lego has. It's able to take a PlayStation first party exclusive IP and get it to Nintendo and Xbox and PC and wherever, which really shocked the hell out of me. Now we have this hit with Batman, which is once again a phenomenal game. I'm not the biggest Batman fan, but I'm having a great time with the game. And the reason I say this because I understand what Morgan meant when she said that, you know, the fan service is there, whether you're a hardcore Batman fan or a superficial one. I can definitely attest to that because I'm getting references from previous movies that I've seen. And there's shit that I don't understand, but I know that it's a reference to something Batman. I'm like, yeah, somebody who loves Batman is probably enjoying the fuck out of this right now. So I've seen that. And now with this long Donkey Kong Lego, I feel like we're about to see a big kind of resurgence with Lego games, especially if they do a Donkey Kong Lego game that is good. And the question that I have for Morgan is, do you think Lego can become something like a Call of Duty, meaning that, and not the Call of Duty of now, but like the Call of Duty of like 2008 or 2010 to like 2018, where they're just dropping banger after banger after banger, expanding that IP. And as you guys know, in video games, the possibility to make a shit ton of money is there. That's why we have so many games releasing. It's kind of like the hope of PlayStation to have a first party, or I'm sorry, a live service game hit. They would consider, winning the lottery to get like a Fortnite because the amount of money they would make is just ridiculous. Do we think that we can see Lego take a chunk out of the video game industry and establish their dominance and make it huge? Do you see that happening in the near future, Morgan?
I think it's certainly possible that they could. The real question is honestly like, okay, with Batman Lego, right? I'm seeing it like all over my timeline, right? People playing it, people posting screenshots, clips of it, cool references that they're seeing, within it. Like whenever there's like a reference to like you were saying, like a movie or a line or something that was, you know, just a pop reference in general, right? Because I've seen other references that aren't Batman related within the Batman game and people talking about them, right? But I think if Lego shows as much love as they did with the Batman IP as they do with, if they're going to do, excuse me, a Donkey Kong Lego or any other known IP Lego, if they are able to recreate it and show love to the IP and love towards the fan base of that original IP, I think they could do they could definitely take this and it go mainstream and Lego just be known as that, that company, and TT Games, that company that makes really cool Lego versions of your favorite IPs,
Yeah.
right? I think they definitely have the potential. It's just gonna take, dropping quality Lego games, right? If it's like,
Hmm.
especially on the fidelity and the frame rate, and as far as just like the quality of the lighting and everything, attention to detail that was put into Lego Batman, if they can replicate that with all of their Lego games, because the Lego Horizon game, as far as the quality of the attention
Oh,
to
great.
detail and the lighting, it was really good.
Yeah, great.
um but if they can replicate what they did with Batman, capture the zeitgeist the same way they've been able to do with Lego Batman, I absolutely can see Lego like going away with this and being a highly anticipated producer of games.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, they're kind of rumor kind of is that they're gonna make the first Donkey Kong Lego. And I'm thinking that would be interesting because normally Lego will take a universe and put it all into one game. You know what I mean? So then you'll
Mm,
get parts of whatever. Let's just use Donkey Kong as an example. They would take like Donkey Kong Country, and that would be like a couple levels. Then they would do
right,
another Donkey Kong and a
right.
couple levels because they don't normally do sequels of the same type
Mm-hmm.
of game. They normally just move on to the next one. But we'll see how it goes because they're also saying they'll be voice acted too. So that
Okay.
is what really has me interested because this will be different for Donkey Kong. And if they can translate that very first game into Legos and voice acted, not only this is a big opportunity for Lego, but I think this is a huge opportunity for Nintendo. And that's why I wanted to take time to talk about it because Disney or Nintendo right now, it's crazy. I said Disney when talking about Nintendo because it feels like that. But Nintendo's going on this big crazy roar with their Mario movies, right? The Mario Galaxy, by the way, hit the streaming on Tuesday, but they made a billy in the box office. You know, they did crazy numbers on the last one. And now imagine if they start expanding a little bit more, you know, now that they're doing Zelda, then they start doing Donkey Kong. Like it could be culturally, it can make a big impact. But the thing that I really want, like, or that I really want to bring up is that I think Lego does need kind of its shine a little bit because I think people dismiss Lego games, especially adults, because they think, oh, it's a kid's thing, which is crazy to me because the same guy who's walking in to spend $800 on a fucking Falcon Lego set piece, spending fucking $1,000 on the Tower of fucking Paris, is calling a Lego game a kid game. It's like, okay, whatever. But I think that Legos do need, or Lego games do need a little bit of their shine because with the Batman game, they just showed that they're able to do it and not just do it, but do it at high quality with a lot of fun. It's throwbacks all the way for adults to kids. You know, even my son, who had no interest in it, was staring at me play for 30 minutes, and that never happens. Like he's ready to play whatever he wants to play. So it speaks volumes. And Morgan loves it. She says you'll see the references there if you're a hardcore Batman fan. I say you'll get the references if you're not a hardcore fan. You'll notice some of the references, but the combat, the gameplay is the most impressive thing. If you love Arkham Knight, you're gonna get exactly that with this game. Not with everything, but with a lot of it, and that's been the most impressive part for me. But the next one that got the next game that got announced this week was Lord of the Rings, but it's made by Warhorse Studio. And Warhorse Studio is a studio that made Kingdom Come Deliverance. Quick question for that one, Morgan. Is this a good fit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, when the rumor came, I think it was like a month ago or a month or two ago that Warhorse Studios was possibly making a Lord of the Ring game, I was hype as hell. I was like, yes, if there's any Western studio that I think could tackle Lord of the Rings, I absolutely 100% think it could be Warhorse
Yeah.
Studios. We've seen their attention to detail and quality when it comes to making, medieval style games, right? The amount of love that they put in Kingdom Come Deliverance
Hmm.
too, and just the level of detail when you see the landscapes, the castles, the towns when you're walking, the interactions that you have with NPCs, the way the world kind of reacts to how you play, um the way it also reacts to how you don't, like the fact that it moves like without with like basically, if you promise, like for an example, if you promise to meet up with a NPC to help them, uh let's say rob a house or something, and they're like, okay, meet me here tomorrow at 9 or whatever, um and we're gonna go, like, let's say, okay, that's the time, tomorrow at 9 you're gonna help this NPC rob the house. You could completely forget, right? You're off doing your own thing, you're doing other missions while the time is passing, and you completely forget about that mission, right? And in most games, the NPC will still be there waiting for you to show up to do the mission, right? But in Kingdom Come Deliverance, if you weren't there at 9 o'clock, he went ahead and did it anyway. He did it without you. And he'll tell you, like, you didn't show up, so I had to do it by myself. And these are the consequences of the fact that I had to do it myself. You're not getting any of the treasure that was promised or whatever, any of the loot. I did it, and now this NPC doesn't like you because you didn't keep your
You
promise, right?
just
Like
created an enemy.
yeah, you just create an enemy. I love that. Like there's interactions that happened with NPCs that I didn't experience that someone else did because they went to a town at a certain time and ran into some kind of altercation that happened, but I completely skipped that town and the altercation still happened. It just happened without me and my knowledge, right? And I
Hmm.
love that. Like that the world just moves without you. Like you're not the world does not revolve around what you're doing, right? It's going to keep going regardless of whether you have a immediate reaction to it or not. And I think that's a really cool aspect to have for like a Lord of the Rings game. And it
Yeah.
like, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, there's just so much shit that goes
So
on.
much. Yeah.
And the fact that you'll probably be able to pick and choose who to help and who not to, and regardless of whether you help person A or person B, they're both going to do what they're going to do, right? Regardless of
Especially
whether
with
you're there
Lords
or
of the
not.
Rings, because Frodo, like in Lord of the Ring, they're really just telling the story of Frodo, right?
Right.
But there is
Hmm.
so many parts
So
to the
many.
puzzle that are moving around Frodo that
Yeah.
you don't even know about. That's why the Lord of
Exactly.
this fucking IP, even though there's what, three main movies and you have the Hobbit, whatever, but there's so
Mhm.
much to go around it. And that is going to be the interesting part about this Lord of the Rings game is
That
because how are they
they
going to
can do
attack
anything.
that? And, and he's not
Exactly.
here right now, but I guarantee he'll show up as soon as I say this. Um, that's why when Crimson Desert, oh, did a Nate pop up like a genie? He always pops up when I say fucking something about Crimson Desert.
Uh-huh.
But that's why when people were talking like Crimson Desert, like, oh, Crimson Desert is so amazing. And I'm like, have you guys played Kingdom Come? Because like
Listen,
Crimson
don't
Desert
look.
ain't
Talk to
even
them.
doing half the shit
Talk to them.
that Crimson Desert's doing.
Talk to
What?
them.
Because you can fly and get a pogo stick and get a race car all in one game. It's fucking the best game ever.
Pogo stick.
That sounds like a fucking salad of shit to me. You know what I mean? Like, look, it's cool to have a whole
Like,
bunch of different
oh
shit, but it's
man.
like, come on, bro. If you're gonna make it a medieval high fantasy, then make it a medieval high fantasy, especially
Hell
medieval games,
yeah.
because it's one of my favorite genres. Anything that's medieval, I fuck with. Anything that's like sci-fi, like outer space shit, I fuck with heavy.
Hmm.
But when
Hmm.
you try to like put both together, bro, like come on, you're gonna have a medieval guy fucking build a rocket and fly out to Mars? Like that's just not, you know what I mean?
It
Like
was doing too much. It was doing too much. It was
yeah,
doing too
like you're
damn
doing
much.
too much, bro. Now, if the game is like Civilization, where there's like, you live through different
Eras.
eras of her,
Hmm.
okay, that's understandable how it built it up. That would be a dope game, actually. But to go from the knight who saved the fucking princess to like, yeah, bitch, I saved you so you can help me fucking wrench this fucking engine so we can fly to Mars. I'm like, oh, see, this is that bullshit. So with Warhorse doing this,
Oh
it's
man, I'm
exciting
so
me for
excited.
those exact same reason. And the other part about this all is that Lord of the Rings have had such a bad time in video games, like
Yeah. Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
most terrible time in video game. And I'm just hoping we finally get a really good one. When I talk to people about what their Lord of the Ring, what favorite or what is their favorite Lord of the Ring game, they're
Probably
either
like
going
Mordor or
to,
something.
yeah, more Shadow of Mordor is a big one,
Hmm.
or they go way back to like PS2 era,
Hmm. Hmm.
so it's like, damn, this is like such a huge IP. And when I was a kid, they dropped a Lord of the Ring games like every year, man. Like
Oh
every
yeah.
year they were dropping one of these fucking games, but they all sucked. You know what I mean? It's terrible. And I just beat Gollum this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
you actually beat Gollum?
I actually
Wow.
did it. Yeah,
Oh, how
I
how
actually,
how quick? How was your time with it? Was it was it
man,
good?
it was rough, bro. It was rough.
That's crazy, yo.
It was
I
rough.
applaud your effort because I wouldn't. I'm like,
But
nah,
you know why
I'm
I did
good.
it? Because I just watched all the Lord of the Ring movies with my son.
Oh, so you were just kind of in that Lord of the Ring
Yeah,
zone. You wanted to,
and the
okay.
game does a pretty good job. Like the game is basically right before right after Gollum meets what's Frodo's uncle's name? Fuck.
Oh, shit.
The dude in the main Gollum movie or the Hobbit movies.
Bilbo, right?
Bilbo, yes. So basically, from when he met Bilbo, after that, after he lost the ring with Bilbo, all the way to basically when he meets Frodo. So within that
Okay.
time, so it's like I don't know. I think it was like 800 years. No, it wasn't that long. Whatever. It was 80 years. 80 years. So
Hmm.
within that time, is when the story was happening. It's just the stealth was really bad. The graphics sucked. The performance
Oh
was,
yeah, yeah.
like Like they let the
Mm.
story try to carry the game, but it
Mhm.
wasn't enough story to carry the game, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
did it. I
Gotcha.
mean, I completed it, and I also completed Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye was a complete opposite. I enjoyed Mind's Eye. I don't think it was as bad
Okay.
as people say it was at all. I just finished it again last month or 2 months ago because they just dropped a new DLC, which was
Oh.
so disappointing. But look, it's not
Oh.
like I wouldn't rate it a 7 out of 10. I give it a 5.5 out of 10. It's just an average fucking game. But my thing is, people are so I don't know if hyperbolic is the right word, but they're so extreme. It's like it's either the
Mhm.
best game ever or it's the worst game ever. It's
I
like,
agree with that.
bro, there's nothing wrong with just having a good game. A good
Yeah,
is
I've
average or
I've had
above.
many good experiences with like 6 or 7 game that
Yes.
I would rate a 6 or a 7. Like
Yes.
that is perfectly fine with me. I'm
Yeah.
like, but the problem with this community is anything like lower than an 8 is terrible. And they will not take it. Like, no, no. If it's not an 8 or 9 or 10, then it sucks, and
Yeah.
it should burn in fire. And I'm like, oh,
And look, I'm not
okay.
defending IGN at all, but when you have IGN rate a game or give them a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 when everybody else doesn't like it, well, that's why. Because everybody is so extreme. It's either really fucking good or really fucking bad. So, what do
Mm,
you expect when these reviewers give the game a much higher rating than you would have, and you don't see enough sixes and fives that people actually enjoy playing? Right. And I'm not saying go out, pick it up day one or anything, but I'm just saying give it a chance. Anyways, I don't give a fuck about what anybody says. I try this shit out my damn self. I've been gaming for 30 fucking years. I know
facts.
what looks good to me. I know what doesn't. I'll buy it if I want to. Um, Unless somebody else recommends something to me that may not be like I was telling my son, I don't like Souls game, but there is a Souls game that I like. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
roguelike games, but there is
Mm-hmm.
a rogue game that I like. So if you cannot find a game within a genre that you don't like, that's a you thing, man. Because there's just too many games out there for the statistics to say that you're gonna hate every single one. I don't like live service games,
It's
but
true.
there is a live service game I like, right? With Marathon. So
Marathon. Mm-hmm.
there's different things like that. And then the last game that we found out about was Jedi 3. So we got Jedi Fallen Order, which was the first one, Jedi Survivor, which was the second one, and the fact that Jedi Survivor came out in the shitty condition it did really hurt the fucking game because that game was really
Yeah.
good. I
Yeah.
loved the whole
Yeah.
romance in there. No, Morgan knows why, but I love that aspect of it. Um, and yeah, the gameplay was improved, bigger, faster. Bigger. What is it? Bigger, better, faster, whatever. All the biggers and betters
Mm-hmm.
were part of that game, and I really had a good time. So when we talk about Jedi 3, that caught my ear. I'm looking forward to that. What about you, Morgan? What do you think about Jedi 3 being in production or eventually being in
Oh
production?
yeah. I was a you know, what Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor fan. Like absolutely loved it. Like I said, I'm a Star Wars fangirl. So when they told me there was going to be a new Star Wars game where it's an action adventure game, and I was like, third person, I was like, "Oh, I will be there." Absolutely. And as far as like the story and the gameplay didn't disappoint. Really loved it, absolutely love Cal Kestis and his adventures of uh being that lone Jedi out here and everything like that. So yeah, I'm absolutely excited for a third installment. But like you said, the especially with Survivor, the performance was just
Hmm.
terrible.
Yeah,
But
booty.
again, that's this is what happens when developers rely too heavily on
Yep.
UE5,
Yep.
and for it to basically be the basis for its lighting system. Like they were using ray tracing as like the base light. They didn't have any kind of other lighting system. It was just ray tracing. So if your console or your PC was not able to run ray tracing well, then it just ran ass. Like the frames would drop everywhere. And you can't have that when you're having a game with like kind of these open world hub areas where you're traveling a lot and around a lot of
Hmm.
areas with a bunch of different lighting. It's just going to tank the performance, and that was a big problem. I like I said, I love the story, I love the gameplay and the characters, but that performance was just unacceptable.
Yeah.
And then it took them forever to update it.
Yep.
Like even people on PCs with like heavy PCs that you would think that could like just brute force through it were
No.
having issues.
Yep.
Like it was completely unacceptable for especially for an IP as
As
beloved
big. Hmm.
and as popular, exactly as big as Star Wars. You shouldn't be having these type of issues. But again,
No.
this is EA's problem with their handling of Star Wars, and this is
Yeah.
why Disney has kind of allowed other
Others
developers and publishers to make Star Wars games, because EA's handling of it has been terrible, especially when you look at
trash.
like Battlefront.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
yeah.
and what they did with that, like I don't blame Disney at all for letting other developers. They're like, all right, you don't have the keys to the the solo keys anymore. Everybody else is gonna be able to do it, and that's, I think that's really what's best for IPs. Just give it to multiple developers, let multiple
Hmm.
developers have their hands on it, because this is what happens when you don't really have competition. They feel like they can just bullshit with the IP and it's fine, right?
Yep.
Um,
And that's
but
another one
other than
that
that, I'm looking forward to it.
that's another one. That's another IP that you figure with as many games as there is out there and how popular the IP is, we would have way more games that are good from this IP. And it feels like
Mm-hmm.
it's hit or miss. And look, I enjoyed Battlefront 2. I have close to 800 hours in that game.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there was one year where I would wake up, go get, get my kid ready, get him set up for daycare. I will go to work. I will come home, cook dinner, hang out with my son, and then I will hop and play Battlefield or Battlefront. And that was a nightly routine for like a year because I
Oh
just
shit.
loved it. I loved it. I loved it. The large scale battles. I mean, I just fucking loved it, man. And they really implemented all the factions of Star Wars. Like I just loved it. But moving forward to other Star Wars game, it's like, or before and after, it's like, what the fuck are you guys thinking? And I think with Jedi Survivor, another issue they had, besides Unreal Engine 5, which by the way is the only engine that if I know a game is coming out, I'm like kind of rolling my eyes a little bit because
Yeah,
it's like,
same.
is it going to work this time? Now, I haven't had that issue on the PS5 Pro. The
Facts.
PS5 Pro is just a powerful console, so it's able to brute force a lot of these issues. You still see some, but not as much as the OG PS5. Um, but I think that it was because they were trying to do May the 4th and, release the game on time, plus the issues with the
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. And it was just another situation where they weren't ready and they release it anyways because, well, money over everything, right? Money over
Yep.
hoes, which is what we are to them. It's nothing but hoes. They're like, fuck it, get your bread. And that's what they did. They wanted to put the game out on time while releasing it on an engine that, and you know what? I
Facts.
agree with the Unreal Engine fucking like people where they're like, well, it's not our fault, it's their fault. It's the developer's fault. Like they just don't know enough of it to make it. Well, I don't say I agree with
Mm-hmm.
him, but I agree with him to an extent because it's the same thing. It's like, bro, if you're not good at developing on an engine, how are you gonna invest, hundreds of millions of dollars on a project that you guys don't really quite know how it works properly. And then I also blame on and the reason we're talking about Unreal is because Unreal 6 got announced today. um,
Bruh.
and
Fucking Rocket League.
yeah, Rocket League. And I also blame Unreal because it's like, well, is it because you guys just don't have the right instructions, or is it because you put so much shit
See,
on there? Like, which one is it?
I think it's just that Unreal Engine, especially Unreal Engine 5, allows for a lot of shortcuts, right? And
Yeah.
I don't necessarily blame the developers. I blame the people in charge of them, because they're like, instead of doing what you normally do where you have a pre-baked lighting system into a game, and then you'll have ray tracing sprinkled on top of that, right? Like an extra. Like they'll use the shortcuts, like, oh, don't worry about that, don't worry about that, we can cut dev time in half by just use the pre-bake or whatever that's in Unreal. We can cut that out. And it's just because they want to, again, cut dev time and cut money that they have to spend, and so they'll just use the shortcuts that are implemented within Unreal 5 and not do the base work that needs to be done in order for Unreal 5 to work correctly. And I think that's what it is. It's just Unreal 5 gives a lot of developers shortcuts when they shouldn't be using them as shortcuts. They should be using them as extra on top already doing. But publishers are greedy, so they're gonna take whatever little short path that they can to get to just release day. At least that's how I've been told from certain developers, that's kind of what's going on with Unreal 5.
Yeah. I'm hoping that with Unreal
I don't know
6,
if Unreal Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm hoping if maybe they'll fix some of these issues or kind of make it so that if you use the features in Unreal 6, it won't cause,
Hmm.
it won't be at the detriment of the gamer, right? And
Yeah,
the detriment of their platform that they chose.
yeah, a little bit easier, user friendly, a little bit more user friendly, a little bit
Yeah.
more secure in the back end of things. A little another
Mm-hmm.
thing too, a little bit more security. Meaning, if you try to do, this happens all the time in a lot of things, right? There's I call it the safety features for retards, right? Where if you try to, if there's four buttons and you have
Ew.
to push them in a special order, well, you can't push button three until you push button two first. Because if you push button
Mm-hmm.
three, you're just going to crash the fucking machine. So,
Right.
and then the alert comes on the screen, right? I hope they do something like that for developers. Like, look, I know you want to get your shortcut in, but first you got to handle these things first. Which I don't
Yeah.
know if they have that. We're just look, we're gamers, right? This is a
Right. We're
podcast. We're
just
just shooting the
speculating.
shit.
Right.
We're speculating. So
Mm-hmm.
don't go fucking write an article about how Will's a fucking dumbass because he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't. I can just
You're
tell
right. I
you
don't.
that games I like and games that I don't. That's it. But let me real quick to handle the comment section because I've been ignoring the fuck out of y'all. I'm so sorry. Mixtape. So I'm like halfway done with mixtape. The way I feel about mixtape is the way I feel about all these types of games. To me, they're not games. They're interactive movies. And for interactive movies, they're great. It's simple. I mean,
Agreed.
it's like if you like it, you like it. You don't. It's cool. I would never give any of these games a fucking anything higher than an 8. When competing against other games, right? But when we compare them against other types of games of their class, then I think it's okay to give them a higher rating. If you're comparing it to like a werewolf, what is it called? The Werewolf Among Us or The Walking
Mm-hmm.
Dead Tall Tale, or when you're comparing them to other games like that, you want to give it a 10 out of 10, then knock yourself out.
See,
But
that's what I
don't,
was saying about these type of games. I was like, people get so upset when they see like a 9 or a 10, and I'm like, I don't think they're not comparing it to fucking Elden Ring.
you know,
Like, or whatever you could, or whatever you deem a 10, like a KCD2. They're like, at least in my understanding or the way I would review it is I'm comparing it to other kind of games in that, genre of games. And so it's like then at that point, okay, I can see it's like, oh, I really like mixtape because in that genre of games, like I consider it a 9 or a 10, right?
yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, people just freak out. I was just like, man, they were really upset at
Well,
the
Elliot, if you want to consider them a game, you go ahead and do that. I will never consider them shits a fucking game. But the other problem too is when it comes to like the video game of the year awards, they are putting him up against other genre games. You know what I mean? It's not like they do a
That's
game of the
true.
year
That's
award
true.
for Souls or a game of the year for action. Is they're all bunched in together. So I can kind of see where people are coming from, but I'm not gonna get my panties in a bunch over it.
Yeah,
Like for
yeah.
what? Like it don't mean nothing. You either like it or you don't. If you don't, move on. It's that simple. Um, I don't know what I was gonna talk about next. Do you know what we're gonna talk about next?
Well, you
We were
finished
talking about
the
Unreal, right?
yeah, yeah.
All right, let's get into some of the meat and potatoes. Do you want to continue talking about gaming, or do you want to knock out the security shit first?
Whatever. Hey, whatever you want to do.
Let's coin flip. Chat. What do you guys want to hear about the security shit or the state of play, along with the Xbox showcase and everything else? We'll give them a few minutes. Well, not a few minutes because we got to keep the show going. Give them a couple of seconds. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna talk about the security shit.
Yeah, they
Um,
voted security.
yeah. So security. So this week we had a lot of exposure to PlayStation's security on your PSN account. And a lot of this exposure came because Colin from, I forget the name of his show, Long Lost Media, I think it's called,
Mm-hmm. That's
got
the
hacked.
yeah.
Got hacked. And by the way, this guy, he's not only a YouTube personality or social media personality, but he's also a developer, which is something I do respect about him. He develops video games for PlayStation, and he's got about Sacred Symbols. Thank you so much, Preacher. Sacred Symbols. He's got a couple video games on PlayStation you can go and buy right now. So they're not only talking about games, but they're also making them themselves. but he had a 4 hour podcast, his last one that they put out for free. And about an hour and a half of the podcast was talking about this, and he broke down the whole situation, which I'm going to break down for you guys as well. But before I say anything else about Colin, is I just want to give you a little bit more of examples of how big this guy is. Colin not only has his own podcast, Sacred Symbols, but a lot of you guys know who Maddie Plays is. He works for Colin. Him and the podcast that he does with the other Xbox guy, they're both under that company. So Colin is not the only one doing this. He actually has employees that are well-known guys that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers that work for him, okay, under him. So when we and this is going to come up a little bit later on when I explain what happened, because this does make knowing that information makes a big deal. Yes, he's former IGN. He's been basically in the industry for decades now. Anyways, his account, he got a text message or a DM saying that his PlayStation account was going to get hacked today. And it did. It ended up getting hacked. And this led to a tweet where he said if he doesn't get his shit back, I think it was within a day or something like that, he was going to quit gaming and he was going to become a G.I. Joe YouTuber. The reason he said G.I. Joe is because he's also a big G.I. Joe fan. G.I. Joe fan. And he also said he doesn't really care about losing his games. What he cares about is trophies, which also was like, what? Trophies? Because I don't care about trophies. But I forget that a lot of people really love their fucking trophies. Anyways, Colin contacted somebody in PlayStation that's high up there in marketing, and they were able to get him in touch with somebody in California who works with security in some way, shape, or form. And he was able to get his account back within 3 hours. While he contacted this person from PlayStation, he also used his contacts in the video game industry. He didn't know he was going to get it quite yet. I'm just giving you the ending of what happened. But while he contacted this person in PlayStation headquarters marketing, who got him in contact with somebody in California, which is where they run the business out of, he also contacted his buddy Greg from Kinda Funny Podcast, which is another huge person in the video game industry. And I guess his buddy Greg did some shit on the side as well. In the meantime, Colin had a whole bunch of developers and whatever contact him trying to figure this whole thing out. And Colin himself said, I wasn't going to bother Neil with this, but in the back of my mind, I knew if things came to, worst come to worst, I'm going to contact Neil. And if you're wondering what Neil I'm talking about Neil Druckmann, okay, the creator of The Last of Us. I just want to lay out how what's the word? How connected this guy is in the video game industry, where he is thinking about calling Neil Druckmann to handle his PlayStation Network fucking problems. Which, by the way, I don't blame Colin. I would too. Fuck you mean? I do that now. Oh, and Nate, my PC fucked up. Yo, and Nate, I need your help, player. And huge shout out to Nate because he's actually sat with me for an hour to help me work out my PC and the settings and shit like that. Use the tools that you have. But this leads to something even bigger. Because Colin has the capability to contact PlayStation directly. Colin has the ability to contact Neil Druckmann directly. Colin has the ability to contact his estranged host that he hasn't talked to in years because of a falling out, Greg, for help, and they all jump to help him. Ain't no developer is going to reach out to you, to me, or Morgan and say, how can we help you get back your PlayStation account? So how did this happen? Have you guys who have been listening to me for a year or two now heard me say this when it comes to digital games? Have you heard me say, hey guys, You can say the wrong thing on PlayStation and PlayStation will ban your account and you lose out on your digital games. That's why physical is better. Have you heard me say that before? I'm sure you have. The way this happened to Colin, which is the same way that happens to a lot of different people, and the reason it went big is because it happened to Colin. But this isn't the first time something like this has happened. This happens all the time. And coincidentally, in my personal life, on Tuesday, I had a friend of mine whose account also got hacked. He hasn't gotten it back yet. It's going on day 5. PlayStation told him they'll reach out back to him within a week or two. But the way that they got into Colin's account is A, you need both of these email address, or you need any one of these two things together in order for them to be able to hack into your account. They need your email address. That's number one. They need that for sure. Secondly, they need a date of purchase, meaning a game that you bought and the day you bought it, the last 4 of your credit card number. Doesn't matter if it's an old credit card or new credit card, it's irrelevant. A purchase order number, meaning you bought something on PlayStation, you share a screenshot, that order number on the top right hand corner, they can use that as well. So what is happening is these hackers, which we're going to call them that for simplified terms, because they're not really hacking anything how you would think they're getting on a computer and, breaking down your security to take your information. No, that's not what they're doing it. And that's what makes this even fucking worse is they're getting your email address. Let's say mine is will777jp, right, at gmail.com, which by the way, it fucking ain't. And by the way, keep your email addresses safe, which is crazy to say because email addresses were made to fucking share with other people. But they'll grab that email. Then they'll say, oh, Will got the platinum for Pragmata the same day, or Will got a trophy for Pragmata on the day the game released. That means he bought the game the day it released. Okay, cool. They call PlayStation customer service and they say, hi, my name is Will777JP, and I don't have access to my account anymore. Great. Will, what other verifying information can you give us? Well, unfortunately, I'm not at home. I don't have none of my information, so I can't really give it to you. And I'm just really frustrated because my son really wants to play video games and we're on the road and we just can't get in. The other end, PlayStation starts to feel bad for you because, man, your kid, you're on the road. I understand. I got kids too. All right, man. Well, just give me a date of when you bought the game. Well, I bought Pragmata last on release date. All right, let me see what I can do. They get in their system and they sent you an email fucking confirmation or some email where that gets you in. They reset your password and bam, they just took the account from Will777JP and gave it to you just based off that information alone. Now, I'm not saying that's going to work 99 or 100% of the times, but it does work frequently enough where it has become a huge problem. Last year, the number one trophy hunter in the world, it's in the world record or the Guinness World Record book for having the most trophies, got hacked, and to this day, he still hasn't been able to recover his account. The number 2 most popular trophy hunter in the world, same thing, still hasn't been able to get his account back. So these people are calling PlayStation, giving them minimal information, and PlayStation is basically giving your account away. Now, we could say this is happening because of customer service in a third world country. We can say this that, these PlayStation customer service reps are underpaid. We can say a million different things, but the problem is that PlayStation has a very weak security system going on. This is something that I've spoken about for, I don't even know, years now. Years. PlayStation is not protecting our accounts. Think about this, and Colin said this on his podcast as well. How many of us get junk mail with credit card offers, bank statements, credit card statements? Now imagine somebody walking by your house, taking one of that junk mail, calling your bank, and now your bank account becomes theirs just by that one piece of information. That's essentially what's happening at PlayStation. Just like that. It's that simple. Now, these accounts that they're hacking, They are targeted. They're either super popular people, people that are well known on social media that have a lot of games, or people that have early accounts, such as simple names. Like if your name was John back when 2006 when PS account started, or you have 1234, that's your account number, or ABC. They're going after those accounts because one, they're super easy because they're not their name is so simple, but two, they have 20 years of games in that account. And what they do with these accounts is they end up selling them in the black market. So that is why they're hacking into accounts. Now, just because these accounts are targeted doesn't mean that you are safe. Let me give you another example. Another thing that they've been doing is called the dead man switch. So when they hack your account, they will go ahead and send a whole bunch of fucked up messages to you. All sorts of bad words, all sorts of fucking racist, homophobic shit. And when you are able to recover your account, what they'll go ahead and do is they will report you to PlayStation and say that you have sent them some offensive messages, and PlayStation has a no bullshit policy. They immediately block your account and you lose it any fucking ways. And then the last one, which is the least likely, this is the crazy thing because this is the least likely, even though it's the most complicated to do, is, or the one that you expect most people to fall for, is they phish you. They sent you text messages with shitty links. They sent you a whole bunch of emails, which is something that happened to Colin. They bombarded him with emails. They bombarded him with zero tolerance. Thank you, RPG. They bombarded him with text messages, hoping that he would click on one of these links and they can get him that way. But they didn't, which is insane because you figure that's how he would lose it. And Colin said it himself. It's like if I would have lost my account that way from a phishing attempt, I would have been way more patient with PlayStation. But the fact that they were able to get my account from no fault of my own is what really pissed me off. But that is basically the lowdown on what's happening with the security with PlayStation accounts. It's not that they are creating some sort of fucking genius way to hack into your accounts. It's that they're able to hack your account by literally no effort whatsoever. They get your email address. That's all they fucking need. I don't know if you can do this. I haven't dug into it enough. But if you're able to change your email on PlayStation or anything, social engineering, thank you, really, Nate. Do it now. Change it for Xbox. Change it for Nintendo. Change it for PlayStation. Do it now. Picture this, right? We're talking a little bit more schemish, right? People on the internet. But picture this now. You have a friend of yours come over to your house. You guys play couch co-op. You go to the bathroom. You go to the kitchen. Your friend is fucking around with your email settings. He gets your email. He gets the last four of your credit card. He goes home. It's like, man, fuck this motherfucker. He got a whole bunch of games. He calls PlayStation up and now his account is yours. You try to get it back, PlayStation says, fuck you. Picture that. How many of you guys got $1,000 worth of games in your account? How many of you guys got $5,000? How many of you guys got $10,000 up in your account right now? And imagine you go get home from work tomorrow or Tuesday because it's Memorial Day, and you try to play after you did all your chores, excited to get back into Lego Batman, and you cannot access your PSN account. And you call PlayStation and they can't help you or won't help you or both. And then if they do help you, they say it might take a couple weeks. And then after the couple weeks, they say, sorry, we can't do nothing for you. I'll say this one last thing before I start asking Morgan questions about this. And I'm sorry I took up so much time, but I really wanted to lay it out for you guys because this is extremely dangerous. Is this account situation from PlayStation needs to get fixed ASAP. But like I said, this has been happening for years. This is nothing new. Nothing new. I wish Nelson was here. He probably fell asleep when he got back home because Nelson now started to go physical. Part of the reason Nelson started to go physical is because he finally realized the dangers of losing his account. Not because somebody's going to hack it, but because he sends a message to me like, "You're a fucking dumbass, Will. Shut your retarded ass up." And I write back, "LOL." And then PlayStation's bots auto read that and say, "Hold up, that's a no word. We don't say retard." And they suspend his account for a week. That is why he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna start going physical." So what I'm talking about is way more nefarious and has been happening for a long time. Look, if somebody hacked my account, I would be sad about it because I got over 1,200 between my physical games and the digital games and the PS Plus games. I have over 1,200 games in there. But I know that more than half of those games are from physical games that I own, and I would say another 50% are, PS Plus games that I claimed over the years. I would just create a new fucking account with a new email, and I still have access to all my shit. So yeah, I would mourn for a week and then I move on. But imagine you, who has their whole digital library online. And mind you, the rumor is that the PS6 is not only going to have a console, but also an all digital handheld. They want us to jump in head first digitally without fixing this problem. And the last thing I'll say before I pass it to Morgan, shame on you. Shame on you, not PlayStation. I expected this from PlayStation. Not this bad, but after knowing everything, I expected this from PlayStation because they are a shitty fucking company. That's why when I was watching the Mooch podcast a couple weeks ago, when the whole DRM situation happened, and you have Nib, Jay Barry there, and Jay Barry, this is what Jay Barry said, quote, "I don't know what the problem is. Every single refund I asked from PlayStation, I've gotten." What? You're the first person in fucking history that ever had that happen. PlayStation turns me down before I even ask the word refund. That's what I don't even ask them. You know what PlayStation told me when I asked them for a refund on my last game that I did 3 years ago? You got to contact the developer. That's a developer issue. Because the game wouldn't fucking work. That's what PlayStation told me. I got the screenshots. I'm going to dig them out from 3 years ago and make a fucking video out of it. Them motherfuckers told me I got to contact the developer. When I said, okay, great. Well, give me their phone number. Sorry, we can't do that. That's personal information. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm never going to ask for a refund again. But shame on people like that because they have been doing two things that are extremely impactful and hurtful. One, they're defending PlayStation, saying shit like, oh, this is a problem for everybody else. Yeah, I'm sure it is a problem for everybody else, but not as bad as PlayStation. When a prominent person like Colin gets hacked, when the number one and number two World Guinness record holders for trophies get hacked and still haven't gotten their accounts back, that's a fucking problem. Now imagine the regular guy like me and you. How much luck are we gonna fucking have? Yeah, I've heard Xbox blocking people and suspending their accounts, Nintendo too. But we don't hear about it as much as we do PlayStation. At least I don't. And mind you, I've been knowing about this shit for years now, which is why I've been doing this physical push. People think that I've been saving up or buying physical games and started building my collections since I was a little kid. No, I've been doing my collection for about 7 years. Six years. That's when I started to see the writing on the wall with fucking accounts being hacked. I don't have anything against digital games. If tomorrow they came out with a system where they said, look, you can sell your digital games, you can trade them, you can borrow them, and you keep them forever, I would probably go digital because it's convenient as fuck. I don't got to wait till GameStop opens at 11 in the morning to go pick up my copy of the game. I get it right at midnight. Physical, I gotta wait for delivery. It don't come day one. I gotta go to GameStop. GameStop will open till 11 in the morning. It's sold out. It's a hassle, dude. Limited runs. I just got in Hi-Fi Rush. I bought that motherfucker in February. Bro, it's June. Next week is June. Uh, Coffee Talk Tokyo. Game came out this week. I gotta wait till September to get my physical. September. Nintendo, oh, you buy digital, we'll charge you 60. You buy physical, we're going to charge you 70. It's more expensive. I don't get my shit on time. It takes space up in my fucking house. I'm constantly having to reorganize it. I bought a shelf a month ago. I still haven't fucking put the games in there. I got to organize everything in alphabetical order so it's easy to find because I got almost 700 physical games. That's going to take me 8 hours to do. I got to split it up between 2 days because it's not going to get done in one fucking day. That is a problem with physical gaming. That is the fucking problem. So I would love digital games, but when PlayStation won't even defend me, or let alone, yes, it got hacked. Let me get my shit back. Then they fucking basically spit on my face and said, fuck you, figure it out. Oh, well, you lost your account. There's too many injustices in this world for me to allow myself to get got like that. When we all know what's happening, it's not too late for you. So shame on all those guys that instead of calling PlayStation out and calling for them to change it, they're just turning this into a console war thing. Fucking shameful. For real. Like, bro, come on. Anybody. But unfortunately, like Colin said, this wasn't the first time that Colin knew about this. Colin has known about this. But it wasn't until it happened to him that now he's being a fucking activist for it. And look, no better person for it to happen to. No better person. And I'm not saying that maliciously. I'm really not because I don't want this to happen to anybody. But good person to happen to because he actually can do something about it. He actually has the ear of PlayStation. He actually has the ear of people in the industry. He's got the ear to Neil Druckmann. I got the ear of Innate who can come through, hit me up, work on my PC, help me out with the PC the issues that I got. And he has done that before. But Innate cannot get my account back for me. So there's only so much we can do for each other. So shame on these fucking people. Morgan, I've talked a lot. My mouth is dry. Let me ask you a question. What do you think of this fucking security thing with the accounts? Did you learn anything from what I said? Did you know everything I said? What
No,
did
I
you know?
didn't.
What didn't you know?
Yeah, I didn't learn everything. I hadn't looked into it that deep, but you definitely that's why I'm glad on your rant because I learned a lot from what you just said. I knew about the way that they got into his account. Knowing his email or and the last couple games he bought. Crazy information that honestly shouldn't allow anyone to have access to your account. Like, I mean, listen, like you said, at the end of the day, yes, this might happen with other platforms like Microsoft and Nintendo, but it's ridiculous that it does. Like there should not be a way for a random stranger to take basic information and like you said, information that is meant to be shared, like
Mm-hmm.
your email. That's the fucking purpose of it.
Yeah.
Not to have it to yourself. Like it's for people to reach out to you. Um, and as simple information like oh they played Lego Batman last or they played mixtape or they played coffee talk whatever, right? And use that to garner access to someone's account.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how the hell that's working, like if it's like a they're bribing the the customer reps at PlayStation
They're using
with money
sentimental
or something.
purposes. So they're not allowed to do this. Technically, there's certain things, bits of information that you do need. But the informations that are required are simple things like the last four of your credit card, the date that you bought a game. Like these systems just aren't safe enough, right? And then
Yeah.
you add in there, oh, my son, he's in the hospital and he really would like to play a game and I don't
Mm,
have access, and now you have people maybe going a little bit above and beyond than they should to get you
right,
that
right, right.
information. So it's a combination of kind of like all that mixed together. It's not like I can just call PlayStation right now and say, hey, I got Morgan's email. Let me get her email address.
Mhm,
No. But if I call them and say, hey, my email is morgan@gmail.com and the
mhm.
last four of a credit card are this, this, and that, and I bought a game on this date, okay, cool. Let's reset it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take more than just a little bit of effort. There's another guy. If you don't mind me, I'll read this real quick.
No, go ahead.
He actually hacked his, I don't know if his sister or a family member's account with their permission, of course, to kind of test the what was happening. And he has it right here. He says, oh, never mind, wrong one. And he actually hacked. He hacked his family member's account uh, pretty quickly too, which was the scariest part of it all. He damn, I didn't save it. But basically, he called PlayStation up with the same thing. Hey, I don't have my, you know, I lost my password. This is the email. This is the last game that we purchased. And he was able to get into his sister's account just like that, same day,
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they did the inverse, but with his account, same shit. So he was 2 for 2 on tries. So it's a combination of it's super easy to do because they just don't have the security processes in place. Um, but like I said, man, it's not hard to get a specific date when PlayStation themselves give you that information with your trophies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can just select a new game. The last four of your credit card number. Like, how hard is it to really get that? You catch a screenshot of somebody here, or you share a screen. How many people get that deluxe edition controller, that's collector's edition, and take a
Mm-hmm.
screenshot for Warrior 64? Like, oh, got mine.
And
Thank you,
yeah,
Warrior.
don't yeah, they don't X out their personal information. Yeah.
Exactly. But the crazy thing is that normally, like, imagine picking up a receipt, and Colin said this, I'm not making it up, but he said imagine going to Target, getting a receipt off the ground, calling Target and say, my transaction is this is the Target I went to, this is the last four of my card, which are all things that are on that receipt, and then Target
Yeah.
now gives you that account, that their credit card account. Like, that's how easy it is. Hey, what's up, Enrique? Like, that's literally the equivalent of what's happening with PlayStation, where you can pick up the receipt off the floor that somebody dropped, call them, and they switch over the account to you because you have that information that's on the receipt. That's the easiness of it. So it
Yeah.
ain't like there's some genius computer hacker out there somewhere that's
Uh-huh.
like, with a hoodie up, fucking typing his ass off, fucking going through firewalls and shit. Like, oh yeah, the fucking worm is chasing me, or the you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Norton is
Yeah.
about to get me. No, Norton, don't do it. No, it's not even that. Which is what makes all of this even worse. It's not that there's a group of
Yeah.
hackers that were able to figure it out.
Low level ass shit that should
It
not be, it should not be possible for people's
Yes.
personal information, like that people's accounts that have tied thousands of dollars to
Mm-hmm.
these accounts. uh yeah, it I think the saddest part about this whole situation is that even with Colin being so vocal about it, then obviously on Friday him doing kind of a deep breakdown of the whole situation, even after he got his account back, and him being vocal about everything, is the fact that PlayStation still hasn't said anything.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
they haven't put out like a tweet, like, or nothing, like, hey guys, like, I'm not saying that you had 24 hours to solve this, or fuck off PlayStation. Like, obviously it's going to take some work on the back end, and they got to figure
Mm-hmm.
out where exactly their weakness is, and take steps to nip this in the bud. But at least, like, I don't know, like the PlayStation help or even the PlayStation main page should be tweeting out, like, we heard about
Yeah.
the situation, with the social engineering on the back end and people's accounts getting taken away and locked. And we are working hard to implement new security measures in order to protect you all's account. Don't worry, like, we're gonna be doing stuff, like, it's just something to let us know that they're listening and not just being like, oh, whatever,
Ooh,
like,
Morgan. Someone in the comment section say you sound cute. Ooh
oh.
wee.
Okay.
Hey, but I wouldn't feel too good because Steve also says I sound cute all the time. So I mean,
Oh,
take
okay.
it with a grain of
Hey,
salt.
listen, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Steve. Um, but yeah, if there was any kind of recognition from PlayStation about, hey, like, obviously they're not going to hear everybody's, like, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
people who are like, just regular people like you and me, right? We could tweet about it and maybe it'll get like, a couple hundred, or maybe even 1,000 plus likes or whatever. But PlayStation may not see that. But you got Colin, right? Huge in the industry, huge for PlayStation, one of their, biggest supporters, yada yada yada, mad connections within the industry. and they're still quiet. you know, like that's just
Oh,
like,
and another thing that I forgot to mention as well, because this is also trippy. So, and I've also heard this before numerous times before, and I actually think it happened to me before too, but I cannot confirm it. But I hung up on this person.
mm,
Colin said that when he called PlayStation, and
mm,
FYI, just to even call them is a pain in the ass. If you go to PlayStation support,
yes,
it's like you got to go
chatbot.
through 100 different tabs. Yeah, it's chatbot.
Uh-huh.
Then you go to. But anyways, so he said that he got a call from somebody asking him literally the same questions that PlayStation had asked him, such as what's the serial number on your console, and he thinks that was the hacker. They spoofed the phone, and I believe that because I've seen that happen before
Wait, what?
numerous times. Yes, so they're, and which by the way, guys, this is not hard to do. If you didn't know, Google has an app called Google Voice, which gives you a free phone number, and you can
Yeah.
select your phone number. But anyways, yeah, so the spoof, and I could have sworn I've had that happen to me as well when I made a call to PlayStation a few years ago, and I hung up. Like some didn't feel right. So whenever you do call PlayStation, they give you like a case number. Always repeat that. Like, hey, what's the case number that you're calling me about? Don't give any information to anybody. If they say, oh, no, it's not about that, or nope, don't talk to them because they are also calling you using a PlayStation type of number, California number, to make it seem like they're from PlayStation. And once again, this isn't anything new. It's been all over Reddit. I mean, look up, Google it. There has been stories happening like this for years and years and years and years. I've shared this shit on my Discord before, but once again, Will is a crazy physical guy. Will just hates digital. I don't hate digital. I would prefer to go digital, as I've said already. But the protections aren't there. And they brought up a good point. I think everybody should have a 4-digit PIN or five or six. And if you cannot provide that to PlayStation, then PlayStation helps you in no way, shape, or form. Now, if you cannot get that PIN, then there should be another way of getting access to it, such as getting something notarized. You know what I mean? Because we're not talking about a silly gaming account. We're talking about thousands of tens of thousands of dollars involved with these accounts. Like five games, five games that you buy at retail is considered felony in the amounts that these five games are worth in most states in the United States. So if you go steal something at Target, Walmart that has the same value of you buying five or six day one video games, that's a felony. You will go to prison, not jail. You will go to prison. So let that think in. How many people have bought 5 day one games just this year alone? It's fucking insane. And the fact that PlayStation not only has gotten hacked once as a company, twice, not three times, but they're getting hacked consistently every couple of years or some sort of big hack. They are, yes, alien. So when they call you on your caller ID, you see that it's coming from San Mateo, California, 1-800 number that is just like PlayStation's number. So that's another thing that they're doing because sometimes the hack itself doesn't work. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is circulating on the interwebs. So Sony has a self-made SRM system or operating system. Think of it as like a iOS that handles all of this. There are screenshots floating on the interwebs of this operating system, of the app that they're using, the questions that they ask, the questionnaires, the information that PlayStation is going to ask you when you call them. So these hackers not only know your information, but they're going to know exactly what PlayStation is going to ask you. So when you get that phone call from a spoof phone number, they're going to sound like a PlayStation rep because they're going to have the word or the word track of exactly what they would ask you, and that is readily available online. So before the story dropped this week, what I understood of it, because of the number one and number two trophy hunter in the world, when he gave his story, was basically, I think he's Brazilian or some shit, but basically somebody inside of PlayStation that worked for PlayStation, because mind you, PlayStation's customer service are generally coming from third world countries, Pakistan, Turkey, shit like that. So somebody within the company got in contact with somebody who wanted these accounts and they would give them cash. And that's how they were able to get the information. So that is probably the least likely way that somebody's going to get yours. But when you're talking about somebody getting bulks of accounts, they'll pay one of these employees. Here's $1,000. And by the way, $100 in Pakistan, guys, that's a shit ton of money. $100 in India, that's a shit ton of money. You give them $1,000. Hey, I need fucking 5,000 accounts. If you're struggling making minimum wage in a third world country and somebody comes and offers you $500, $1,000 to get 5,000 accounts, shit, I'll go in alphabetical order. Here you go. So that's how they're able to get big, large bulks of accounts to sell them on the black market. But the way that Colin got attacked, it's not that way at all. It's more social engineering shit. It's more, oh, fuck you, Colin. I'm going to make your life a living hell. You know what I mean? But once again, if you're a hardcore gamer, you're going to have some form of social media that you're on. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever it is. You're excited sharing with your friends. Hey, I picked up Pragmata. Who else picked up Pragmata? Oh, yeah, that's dope. You're sharing screenshot. Hey, I got deluxe edition. What you get? Blah, blah. I'm excited. Blah, blah. Somebody lurking. Somebody catches that shit. They go to your Twitter, which a lot of people have their email there for business purposes. Contact me here. Bam. Now they have the possibility of getting access to your account just off that. Oh, shit. You bought something on PlayStation Store and you took a screenshot and the purchase order numbers on the top right hand corner, bam, get in with that. I'll give them a sob story about how, my house burnt down. This is my only fucking happiness right now. I got the email address. I got the purchase order number. Gucci. So it doesn't have to be somebody that is just like you're the one random person that they got because they hacked you and 100 other people. It could also just be a friend that fell out with you. You guys had a discussion. They no longer fuck with you. They want to give revenge. They want to make your life a living hell. Whatever. They can just send you a whole bunch of messages or send themselves a whole bunch of messages with derogatory shit and then report you to PlayStation. So yeah, they didn't hack your account, meaning they didn't take it from you, but they're preventing you from having it. One time I was messaging, I forget who, or shout out to Ball Dante. I said ass. I said, yeah, this game is ass, bro. When I went to reply to another one of his responses, I'm looking up and I don't see that comment. PlayStation deleted that message that I made to him talking about a game is ass because it had the word ass. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, bro, did you delete this or reported this? He's like, no, I didn't. Of course he didn't. What, you know what I mean? We're talking about a game. But that was another warning that, kind of went off in my head like, oh, shit, these motherfuckers for real are listening and watching. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry to cut you off, Morgan. Um, any other
No,
questions,
you're
Morgan?
good. No, I just need PlayStation to do something about that because this, again, it's one thing if, like you said, it's like a criminal mastermind hacking their way into a sophisticated system.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's somebody just simply using basic ass information, it's
Yeah,
honestly unacceptable on PlayStation's end. They're too big of a company, honestly, to
too
let
big.
something like this happen. And they've had too many issues when it comes to people's accounts,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the scandal of PS3, that ever since that and how it almost ruined Sony as a company,
Yep.
you would think that they would make security the utmost important thing ever, especially when it comes to a PlayStation. Like again, like people don't understand how big that PS3 is hack was and how
Oh
it
yeah.
like people's accounts were just fucked for months. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was bad. And you would think after that PlayStation would be like, you know what, we can't let this any type of shit like this ever happen again. No matter what, no matter whether it's like, a like I said, a sophisticated hack or just people using social engineering.
Yeah.
Like we can't allow this type of shit in our name to be associated with this type of shit ever again.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's just like they seem to become like, I don't know, just lazy with it. Like
Big time.
I don't understand why. Like you would want people to feel safe, because this is where PlayStation makes the most of their money. Obviously, was
Yep.
within their digital storefront,
Big time.
and you want people to feel that their information and their profiles are safe and secure, because that the more secure and safe that a consumer feels within your store, the more they're willing to spend money
Yep.
in it.
It's like your girl. If you make her feel safe and secure, she's gonna do some freaky shit with you.
Exactly,
But if you
exactly.
don't, she's gonna be like, leave your shirt on.
Not tonight. Not
Not
tonight. It's
tonight.
okay.
I got a headache. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's just so it's just the nonchalantness
Yeah.
from Sony is just honestly just, it's very annoying that they haven't come out and said anything about this.
Yeah.
Because this is a big issue that could potentially affect thousands of people
Oh
if
yeah.
it's just this ABC as simple to get into somebody's account.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like you said, take extra safety measurements when it comes to this. Like I have a completely different email for my gaming, that's not
Hmm.
attached to my other emails. So it's like that's, these are type of measurements you got to do. And obviously, a two-factor authorization isn't really going to help with this particular situation. But
I
just
mean,
try to be,
you should still
um,
have it. Secure
yeah, you
yourself
should
as
still have
best you
it. You
can.
should still have it.
Hmm.
But just try to be as careful as you can when it comes to especially sharing obviously personal information
Yeah.
about gaming. Make sure you are blacking out all all of the information. If you feel the need to share certain screenshots, just make sure you are blocking out certain information, and not being too forthcoming with
Hmm.
any kind of personal information when it comes to you and your gaming. So yeah, these are the unfortunate steps that we have to take, because the actual company doesn't feel the need to do any damn thing. So
Yeah. And mind you, what Morgan was saying with the PS3, how big that was. This motherfucker was that problem was so big that this is the same console generation where they said our customers will go get a second job just to buy a PS3. They went from saying that to the CEO, CFO, fucking everybody bowing in front of the cameras to their
bruh,
customers
all of
because how
Japan
bad all of
apologizing.
Japan apologizing to the fucking world, bowing. Mind you,
Mm-hmm.
Japanese don't fucking bow to just anybody. They bow to each other. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they fuck with each other. They'll take your money, but they fuck with each other, and they went up there and fucking did one of the most sacred things they do: bow to every fucking body. That's how you know they fucked up. So protect yourself, guys. And I really want to harp on this for all the guys that you've been watching on, podcasters, entertainers. If they're using this as a console war thing, especially if they're a pony, bro, drop their ass. This is disgusting. This is not a PlayStation or Xbox is better than whatever. This is a baseline human security thing. You know what I mean? Like we should all be looking out for each other, no matter what you play, where you play. It's like, bro, protect yourselves. You're on Xbox, do the same shit. You're on Nintendo, do the same shit. Nintendo, not too much, because Nintendo will fucking break your console just because you breathe the wrong way. But either way, call these motherfuckers out because they are fucking pieces of shit for using this as an opportunity to do that. And you know who I'm talking about. And I've been calling these guys out for the last couple of weeks in specific. We had another guy say, "Oh, it is the way that it is." Like, man, fuck off. But Morgan, let's move on to the last topic of the evening: state of play. State of play.
Yeah, state of play time. Let's
Yeah,
go.
so I'm excited for the state of play, but I'm more excited of the timing of it. What do I mean by that is we're getting the state of
Mm.
play, we're getting the Xbox showcase, we're getting the Jeff Keighley Summer Game Fest or whatever they call it, and we're also getting a whole bunch of indie shit in between now and then.
Mhm.
So a lot of time, right? And or not a lot of time, a lot of events. And of course, there are things I want to see, but I never say those things because I'm more of the person where I'm like, I don't show me what you got to show me. You know what I mean? I'm more of the person that I'm like, you're the one that's creative, you're the innovative one. Show me what you've been working on. But that being said, we are a year or two away from possibly getting the next console generation. At the same time, We are at a time on PlayStation where there is a ton of first party studios that haven't released anything. What do you think we're going to get with this state of play that is supposed to be an hour long, where we're for sure going to see Wolverine in there? What do you think it's going to be? Not what they're going to show, but what do you think the vibe is going to be? Do you think we're going to see live service like
Mm.
we've seen previously? Do you think we'll go back to first, you know, first party studios type of stuff, indies?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what kind of vibe do you see here?
Yeah. It's my favorite time of the year, the E3
Yeah.
season of gaming when we get all these, great news updates. But for as far as the state of play goes, I saw the announcement, I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, state of play time. But I think, there was a couple of flags that raised up for me when I saw it. I was like, wait a minute. They announced this like 2 weeks ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. They don't ever do that because if you have been following PlayStation and if you watch their state of plays, you know that when it comes to the state of plays and especially this generation as of late, they really only announce like maybe 2, maybe 3 days ahead of time. Most of the
Yeah.
time it's 2. So the mere fact that they announced it out this far in advance, I was like, huh, okay,
Yep.
cool. And then on top of that, 60 plus minutes, okay, nice. And then probably the biggest indicator for me was when they were, they said, and if you want to watch it, with your fellow gamers,
Mm-hmm.
here are, we're having it in cities across America where you can go watch, the live reaction on, in a
Movies.
movie theaters. And funny enough, it was in a movie theater that I go to often in my city that
What?
they
You
were
got
having that
one?
they no, I was, but I was like, you know what? I really want to watch it with my fellow podcasters. Like,
I would
I
go
need to
with you
be
if
with
I
my
lived by you,
I yeah, that I appreciate that.
but you
I
wouldn't
really
go
want to
with me
watch it.
though.
I would go with you.
No,
What?
you wouldn't. I wouldn't.
No, I no, I really would. I was
That would
thinking
be
about getting
dope.
the tickets so that I could go with my brother because he's a big Wolverine fan and he's
Mm.
really waiting for the Wolverine update.
Does
But I
he
was
is he
like,
like a hardcore
nah.
gamer too, or he's just excited for
No, he's
Wolverine?
casual. He's
Okay.
casual. He's just a big like Marvel fan and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So yeah. So I saw it. I was like, oh shit, it's in my city. Oh shit, okay. I was thinking about it, but that was a huge indicator for me. I was like, okay, PlayStation hasn't like shown their events off in a theater in years, right? And then there's also
yeah,
the live event that they're hosting. They don't ever do that anymore,
yeah.
right? So
No,
I
they
was
don't.
like, huh, oh, this. I was like, okay, so all of this information put together, I was like, yo, this looks like it's going to be a huge event for PlayStation. At least they're at least making it seem like this is a big deal, right?
Yeah,
Because you're not trying to give out tickets to a so ass event. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, oh, we're not gonna have none, but here's a ticket for you if you want to go watch it with your fellow gamers in your city.
Well,
you
something
know?
else that, and I don't want to ruin the mood here because I'm also excited, but something also that's
No, go
got
ahead.
me curious is this another one of those marketing things? Because the movie theaters that PlayStation is doing it on, from my
Alamo.
understanding, yes, Alamo is something that they also just acquired.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I don't know if it's something that they're trying to hype up because they just
Mm-hmm.
acquired it or because they are doing something special. But
Mm-hmm.
I was like a lot of people where I'm like, I don't care about these. Like I like watching them, but I would not like go there. But then I went to my very first video game like event where they like sell old video like retro kind of thing, and they had meet and greets and shit like that. And bro, I fucking loved it, bro. It's like being home in a way, and not
Okay.
exaggeration, and I don't mean to exaggerate it, like you've been gone from your family for 10 years, you finally come back and you see your mama and your bedroom and the smell. No, it's more like you stay the night at your cousin's house and you miss your mom, and the next day you go home and it's like, oh, I'm home. It feels nice to be home, kind of like that feeling, because I've
Mm-hmm.
never been in a place where there was that many gamers at once. And I told myself if I had the opportunity I would. So when they made this announcement, I did check in my local area, but we don't have any Alamos near me. But I would love to go because I do feel, especially the way it's been the last couple of years with PlayStation, like I feel like their best day to play
Oh.
was the last one. Well, the
Yeah,
best day to play
that was definitely their best like in a long
in a
time was
long
the last
time.
one.
Yeah, yeah, in a long time. That's what I meant to say. And yeah, I hope that I hope that we start to see the things that we all love about PlayStation in this one, and they keep that momentum going. But
Hmm.
I'm not gonna stop you. Is there anything in specific that you're hoping to
Oh,
see?
and Nate said that they owned Alamo Draft since 2004,
Oh,
so they've
so
owned it for a
okay,
couple years.
okay,
Um, but another, and maybe this could be true, this could not be true, but from what I've been seeing from the Insomniac devs who have been, obviously tweeting about it because Wolverine's going to be involved, right?
yeah.
We're finally going to see some kind of in-depth gameplay with Wolverine. A lot of them have been saying, make sure you show up at two
Oh, that's
o'clock or
true.
ET. Like,
They don't normally say that stuff.
be on time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me think, exactly. That makes me think that Wolverine's going to be the first thing that's shown. Like, if they're
Yeah.
telling you be there on time, show up. Like, hurry up. Like, don't be late. I'm like, okay, so that means it's not going to be the show ender. So if that's true, if Wolverine is first, what is going to be, that means that there's going to be potential something big at the end of the show, right? Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
if you're if you're opening Wolverine, the closer's got to be crazy. So
Yeah.
I am having like I could absolutely be wrong, and egg on my face, whatever. But I am having really high hopes about this state of play, that it could actually be good. And then of course with the news, well, not really news, but the reaffirming with the town hall meeting of Herman Hole saying, yes, we are pulling, or we no longer putting our single player games onto PC anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, it just makes me feel like all of this is culminating to PlayStation coming back home and showing what they do best, those
Yeah.
single player narrative driven games, and showing you why you should get a PlayStation, right? Because if you're not going to put these games on PC anymore, you got to start showing people, okay, this is why you invest.
Yeah.
If you're telling people you have to have the console to experience these games, then you have to give them games worth experiencing, right? Something
That's
that
a
they
fact.
cannot miss, something that you have to play, must plays, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
just have a feeling. Now, I'm not saying everything that you're going to see is a 10 out of 10 in that show. It's just going to be bam, bam, bam. But I just have a feeling that we're going to get a high quality show because, like you said, there are studios that we haven't seen a game from this gen. Naughty Dog, Ben Studio, right? Like
Yep.
there are studios that just haven't had anything this generation.
Yep.
And we know Naughty Dog is working on multiple projects at this time because they've
Yeah.
already stated that they're working on, I think, three. So we already know Interstellar. Maybe they show off what the other thing is. Maybe we see what that God of War spinoff game that's supposed to be Faye, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we see more of, maybe we finally see what the hell Ben's working on. I know they had to cancel like a live service game, but maybe they
Yep.
have a pitch of what
I
they're working
hope.
on.
Well, did
Something.
you see the well, and I want to mix into this conversation too because I did put it in
Yeah.
the description, exclusives. But did you see? Damn, what's this name? The voice actor for Joe and Indiana
Troy
Jones
Baker.
and Troy Baker. They asked him about Intergalactic, and he basically said that
Yes.
they're doing something really special with this one and
Hmm.
all
Bigger than
that.
they've ever done,
Bigger
which is not
than
surprising to me because Naughty
yeah,
Dog
no.
always steps it up after every game is a step up from the last. So yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
definitely doesn't surprise me. And Neil's been talking about this a lot and talking about, especially with like the gameplay, that they're doing things that they've never done before,
Yeah.
and I believe it because people like to shit on Last of Us 2, but one thing you can't say was that gameplay wasn't fire.
Nope.
Like,
Hey, I'm one of those.
absolutely. Yeah,
I
yeah.
shit on The Last of Us Part Two. But I
Oh,
never
okay.
say that the gameplay. As a matter of fact, I defend it because I
Uh-huh.
say, the animations are crazy as
Yeah,
always, and
crispy,
they're
absolutely.
just next level. But the one thing I cannot forgive Naughty Dog for is,
Hmm.
yeah, they can make The Last of Us Two again, with the bullshit that I didn't like about it. And by the way, the bullshit that I didn't like about it was like the pacing, the
That
way
was a
that they
big one.
did the Abby and Ellie situation. I think that they could have done it like that update where they ran it in chronological order.
Hmm.
Where they did that new update. I wish they would have done it like that because it felt like after you were playing as Ellie for 20 something hours, you're invested. It's like, oh fucking, I gotta play this, whatever. And they
And then
also
you
had that one big
switch to Abby. Yeah,
switch to
yeah.
Abby.
And Nate felt the same way, so you're not alone on that.
The big hour quetch fest when the girl's arm got broken, you had to go to the hospital to go get the meds.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. So those were the big things for me, but everything else was good. The story
Mhm.
wasn't as good as the first one, but to me, that's expected. You're not gonna get as good of a story normally on your sequel. But the other thing I was going to bring up is the one thing I don't forgive them above everything else is the length of time. Taking fuck 7, 8 years to come out with another product or another
Mhm.
game when you have 800 people working for you, that's unacceptable to me. I understand that you're doing shit that is different. You're pushing yourself. You're moving forward,
See, but that's not really an
but
excuse
that's not an excuse.
because
Yes.
they were able to release Uncharted 4 and then Lost Legacy and then Last of Us Part 2 because the teams were split up, right?
Yeah.
They were working on multiple projects at one time and still able to deliver
Yep.
these high quality industry pushing games. The issue was what comes down to it is the factions situation where
Yep.
they had the whole dam of Naughty Dog working on this live service factions that ultimately got scrapped because they were just like, well, if we commit to this, we can't commit to single player games anymore, right? Or at
Yeah.
least for the time being for factions. So they just had to throw that out and
Which is
go, and that's what.
insane. Saying that
Yeah,
shit out loud is insane.
yeah, and but see this it proves it because then they came out like the next year saying they're working on 3 projects, and how are they able to work on 3 projects because they don't have that factions anymore. So they're like, okay, so now we can work on multiple projects like we used to, and go back to the cadence of developing
But
games that like we used to. And I'm just like,
I have to
bro,
say this
like,
too because if you're a Naughty Dog fan, and this is one of those situations where not your answer, Morgan, but
mm,
whoever's listening's answer is gonna let me know right now that you're either a fucking bullshitter who Neil says jump and you say how high, or you're for real a fan of them,
mm,
meaning a responsible fan. You know, if you're a fan of Naughty Dog, you absolutely know this. You know that Neil is unorganized as fuck. You know that
yep,
Neil cannot manage a large team. You know this. And we have to include that in our speculations of why, how long they take. And how do we know this? Because every time they make a game, they drop a documentary and the whole team is saying this shit. We had to scrap it how many fucking times? See, Hero, now I know you're not a real fan because they say this. Neil himself says this.
yeah. Neil's admitted to being disorganized when it comes to it. But
Absolutely.
this is what happens when you're overly creative and you have all these ideas coming at you at once and you're like, oh, that seems like a good idea. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, actually, I think I'll prefer this. Like, and I think that's why Neil needs someone to kind of rein him in
Yep.
sometimes. And I think
Big
that's why his
time.
partnership with Bruce worked really well
Yep.
because Bruce was able to kind of rein him in. Like, okay,
Yep.
like that's a good idea, Neil, but we need to stick to that and not go over here.
And
Like,
FYI, I relate to Neil. I relate to Neil hard. How do I relate to Neil? Guys, I have the month of June filled with videos. The month of June. If you're a member, you can watch up to June 15 worth of videos. Why? Because I will pump out 4, 5, 6 videos in a fucking day because I have so many ideas coming to me and I want to get them all out. Right now, you can only see up to June 15th because the rest of June I have in my camera because I don't want to upload that much right away. But I understand, Morgan. I stepped back, took a look at myself, and said, "Look, these videos are only getting 100 views versus these videos are getting 3, 4, 5, 600 views, 1,000 views. What do I need to do here to fix the shit? I am bombarding people with too much content." I stepped back and I reorganized my shit, came up with different release dates, and so far we'll see how that works. But I am nowhere near Neil's level. I'm just saying I can relate a little bit to when you have inspiration and there's so many things you want to do that could be done bigger and better. I understand that. Now I'm just some dude recording videos in my fucking room, okay? So I'm not even trying to compare myself to a Neil Druckmann. I'm just saying that I can understand where he's coming from. And if your idea, your new idea is better than your last, then fuck yeah, let's go with that idea. Let's rework it in. But the problem here comes is you have a game that is worth $200 million. You have 800 people underneath you, a whole fucking studio. You have the whole of PlayStation waiting for you to come up with a date so they can rearrange their $200 million game. It's more than just some dude in his room making videos about physical games. Are you back with us, Morgan?
Yeah, my internet kicked me out for some
No,
reason.
yeah, I know. That's why I kept
Yeah.
talking. But does that make sense to you? I don't want to compare myself to Neil. I'm just saying I kind of understand where he's coming from, but that still doesn't
Yeah.
excuse it because he's a professional. I'm an amateur
Yeah.
making YouTube videos with one person. He's got hundreds and hundreds of people, hundreds of millions of dollars, a huge responsibility as one of the best studios in the whole world. Like you
Hmm.
figured,
And I think he understands that, the role that Naughty Dog plays in within PlayStation, and especially within the industry, is how widely regarded they are. I mean, even when the initial trailer for Intergalactic came out, we see old girl on her, spaceship or whatever,
yeah,
and even like other devs were just kind of regarding of like, y'all don't understand how crazy it is the way she just took her jacket off, right? The ability for her to just shake it off and you actually see it come off. They were like, y'all don't understand how hard an animation like that is to make. And they said Naughty Dog just walked that shit like it was just easy. He's like me and my fellow developers are freaking out right now because y'all don't
yeah.
understand how hard it is to animate something like that. And and we kind of take that for granted because we're just like, wait, what's a big deal about it, right? Because we don't
Oh,
really know.
Hero
But
Neil is never going to become CEO of PlayStation Studios.
oh,
Never.
hell no.
One, he doesn't want it, and two, he's incapable of doing that job. He's a great creator, but he's there. You need more than just one good thing about you to be at that level, and unfortunately, Neil doesn't have it. Not even close.
Yeah, I don't think Neil could lead on that level. I think he's good where he is. He's good where he is.
And even that is
Um,
like cutting it close because he can't push out a game more than once a generation.
yeah,
And I
I
may be
think
a little bit harsh on Neil, but he deserves it. He gets paid the big bucks.
yeah, he does. The whole organization within Naughty Dog has just been crazy. That's why I'm kind of hoping that we see some more during this state of play. Because apparently internally they're trying to come out for at 2027. I don't know if they're gonna meet that because I think it was like earlier this year where they were talking about how I think it was Jason Schreier who said that they are behind on meeting certain internal metrics for the game.
Yeah,
So I don't know if they're going to meet that 2027 goal or not. We'll see. But one thing I do know is whenever the fuck they do release, it is going to be a high polished game. It's going to have a lot of eyes on it, and that's what I was going to say. I think that's what Neil knows. He knows the eyes of the industry are on him, and I think that's why he's he and Troy are talking about how ambitious this game's going to be and how much they're pushing the level with Intergalactic, and I hope we see that. I hope there's a kind of evolution in their gameplay style and their storytelling. But again, only time will tell. But like with the wait that we've had to wait, that shit better be fucking phenomenal.
yeah. And
It
I'm
can't
sure
be
it
any
will be.
less. It
I'm
it
sure
can't
it
be
will
any
be.
less, to be
You know what's
honest.
another game that we kind of got a date on? Judas, 2028 to 2029.
Bro, I was gonna talk, man. I was so
So,
pissed off about
which
that.
leads me to ask you the question about the state of
Oh
play,
damn.
because to me, that's just a ridiculous. And look, it's not their fault. Well, it is their fault in the sense that they just announced it way too early. They should have never
Yeah.
announced that game. They should have just said we're working on something. You'll see more later, like they always do. But that's just way too damn long. So when people say, "Yeah, I want to see whatever from PlayStation Studios in the state of play," I don't think they should be showing anything that's within over than a year away.
I
I
agree.
honestly really don't want to see anything that's more than like 8 months away. If it's gonna take fucking 8 months, a year more to come out, don't show it, bro. Just fucking say, "Hey, this studio's working on something. You'll see more later." What do you think about that, Morgan?
I mean, I agree. Because I did when I saw the news on Twitter about Judas, I shared it in our group chat, and I was just like, dude, like we heard about this game in like 20. They told us about it in 2022, and they're telling us it's not gonna come out until 28, 29. My understanding was, or not that they said anything definitively, but my guess was, okay, this is gonna be like a 2027 game, right?
Yeah,
But then when I heard the internal metrics, I was like, bro, why do y'all do this? Y'all show me things like that meme. Why would you show me something I can't have? Like,
yep.
why do y'all keep doing this? I hate that shit
I don't
because
like
the
that.
wait and the longing. Like, I remember I felt the same way with Cyberpunk 2077 when they initially announced it. What, in like 2013 or some crazy shit, and then we didn't get it till 2020.
Yeah,
And I like the wait and the the constant disappointment when you finally get an update and it's like, oh, we're still in pre-production or we're still in alpha, but don't worry, we remember, guys. And then you got like another example is Todd Howard with the Elder Scrolls 6,
Yeah. Real quick, and Nate, if they can't show
and he's
anything
constantly
past,
being asked about it, like, is there an update for it? Is there an update?
if they can't, um if they only show us, if they can't show only stuff that's coming out within the next 8 months, then shorten the show up. You know what I mean? The state of plays aren't a scheduled thing anyways. It's whenever they feel like doing it. So then make a shorter one. They've done them before, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Because there's so many games that I have completely checked out of because of length of time, that it's like, why waste valuable dollars? Because every second on air is money being spent. Why even bring it up if you're going to be 2 years away, over a year away? It makes no sense to me. Here's another game, Phantom Blade. I was super hyped for that game, man. Like uncontrollably hyped for that game. And every time, no date, no date, but they kept showing it, no date, no date, kept showing it. That now that we know it's coming out this summer, I don't even care really. I mean, I want to play it, but I don't even think I'll pick it up day one just because I'm like, I'm over it. Emotionally, I'm drained. Like, I don't fucking care. I'll get it at $20 sale or I'll pick it up day one. Who knows? We'll see when we get there. But I'm over it. It's so much so to the fact that when I hear the words Phantom Blade, I get the ick. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't care. I'm sure I'm one of a few people who thinks that way, but that's just how I feel. I just do not want to hear about it. Morgan, what do you think about that? Am I being
No, I get
childish?
that. No, no, I get it. Because there's it gets to a point, especially when it's a game and they consistently talk about it, but then when it's being talked about, it's always in, oh, it's coming soon, or oh, it's delayed till next year, or oh, we have this release date, but then, or this release year, and then when we get to that year, they're like, oh, actually, it'll be next year,
Hey,
and it gets
Pragmata
to a
was one of
point.
those.
Yeah, yeah, Pramato was, because then they had to, like, sorry, sorry, we initially they had the Diana with the
Yeah,
sign when it was supposed to be 2025, and like, sorry, we're delaying it to 2026.
yeah,
Because it just gets to a point, and even when someone people like us, gamers like us, who game a lot and play a lot of games, it's not like there's a lack of games, right?
yeah.
It just gets to a point where you're excited about a game and you kind of get tired of hearing about it, because it's just like, well, shit, just don't talk to me until it's out. Like, don't tell me anything till we're a week out and it's ready. Like, I don't want to hear anything else about it, because it's just, at this point, it's just pissing me off.
Yeah.
um and
Oh, damn it.
yeah, it just feels like that sometimes, and I hate that. I hate feeling like that, because I'm like, it's like, again, I feel kind of spoiled and kind of
Damn
bratty,
it.
because I have games to play, but I'm just feeling some type of way about this particular game,
But it's not, it's like we got food at the house, but ain't nothing like mom's whole cooked meal. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
ain't nothing like your mom throwing down in the kitchen and making your favorite fucking dish. Which, let's get into exclusives a little bit here, because you make a great point. By it's not that you're spoiled, because I mean, we all are spoiled. If you can't find a game that to play right now, I don't know what to tell you. But we all bought PlayStations to play. Number
Mm,
one, and I fucked this up in a video that I made. So when you see it on Wednesday, I fucked the order up. But number one, you know what's the number one reason is that people decide to buy a specific console?
exclusives.
Exclusives. You know what's number two?
What was it, like friends or some shit?
Friends. Real close. The numbers are fake that I'm about to tell you, but just to give you an example, it was like 48% exclusives, voted for exclusives, and like
Hmm.
46% friends, right? So the number one leader is still exclusives.
Yep.
But exclusives aren't the end all be all. Xbox had exclusives, but they didn't sell well. So it ain't just about having exclusives, it's about having good exclusives. That
Hmm.
is the key. But
There
Morgan,
you
what are
go.
some benefits of having exclusives? Give me one or two things if you can think of any.
Yeah. One benefit of having exclusives is that you have a game that is designed for your particular platform. It takes advantage of the hardware that you paid for, right? The PS5, for example, you know, you have an exclusive. This game is designed to run at the most optimized level for the hardware that they sold you, right? You don't, you have, you know, you have those less instances where you run into these kind of, like we were talking about earlier, Jedi Survivor
Hmm.
situations where you have a game running terribly because they are trying to optimize it for several platforms, and you use shortcuts and things. But when a dev only has to focus on one platform and making it work for this one platform, you have a higher chance of having a much better and optimized experience for you.
Yep.
And of course, you know, great exclusives also, you know, drive the platform, right? They drive consumer sales, and the more sales, console sales that the platform that you support get, the higher chance that you are to get third party support. So more third party games are more likely to come to your platform, because, like, perfectly example with PS5, right? They're like at a point where they're almost like 3 to 1 with Xbox. And because they have such a high foothold in the industry, they are able to secure more third party exclusives, right? We More developers who may have to choose between platforms, whether it's based on, you know, lack of funding or support, and they can maybe only, you know, develop for one console at a time, they'll more likely choose that platform that has the numbers, right? And the reason
Yep.
PlayStation has the numbers is because they have high quality exclusives that people want to play, so they buy the platform. So yeah, there's plenty of positives that come to having exclusives, regardless of what people like to say. And I think Xbox fans are kind of learning that now.
Yeah.
They're now asking for console exclusives. But yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same. And by the way, guys, I know you're judging me on my gameplay, but I'm playing in lunatic mode, so this shit is two hit or quitter. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Having exclusives is important for all those things you mentioned, especially with pushing the hardware to the limits. I mean, we all have a PlayStation, we all play with a DualSense. We know how great and how much it elevates those games once we do implement those features. But it also pushes gaming forward. That's why, even though I didn't think that The Last of Us Part Two is, you know, the uh, the great game that people say it is, I still think that it pushed gaming forward in certain ways, and I can respect it for that. And mind you, I beat the game twice. I beat that game more than some people who say they love it's their favorite game ever have. All right, but exclusives are important, and when we're talking about Xbox and specifically, they a lot of their fans think that by Xbox bringing exclusives back is going to help them in some way, shape, or form, which that ship has sailed. And also, Xbox never said anything about exclusive. It said, we'll see, which is exactly what they should be doing when somebody brand new takes over the company. But on the state of play, I am really looking forward to exclusives. That is the number one reason I'm going to tune in because more than likely anything that's not exclusive, I'll be able to play anywhere else. I can play it on PC, I can play it on the Xbox, I can play it in a lot of different places. PlayStation has to really convince me on why it is the preferred platform for a lot of people. And if exclusives ain't doing it, there's only so much hardware features can, if that makes sense. What do you think? Am I being foolish by saying that, Morgan?
No, I that was not to keep, you know, dismissing, excuse me, Xbox fans, but that was kind of a big point of contention that they were saying that, oh, exclusives don't matter because console features. And I'm like, console features are great, but they don't sell platforms because
Yeah.
you guys preach to high heaven about quick resume and backwards compatibility, and nobody
Hmm.
else cares. Nobody.
Which, by
Like,
the way,
it's
their
not
backwards
moving.
compatibility is ass.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I think that's why it's one of the top requested things to bring back and kind of fix.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's like console features are cool. Like, no one's saying you shouldn't have console features or you shouldn't work on improving the console, because at the end of the day, it's hardware that you paid for
Oh
and
yeah.
you want it to be the best that it can be. But this isn't the thing that most gamers care about. They're not buying it, and I'm not buying an Xbox for quick resume. I'm buying it because I want to play Halo, I want to play Gears, I want to
Yeah.
play Forza, I want to play Fable, whatever, right? And this is the only platform that I can do it on, or it's like, the best for me as in like console versus PC or something, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you said, it's not just exclusives. They have to be must plays, right?
Yep.
Because releasing a bunch of mid or okay to good games aren't going to convince the masses to adopt a platform, especially at in today's economy where these consoles are more expensive than they were at launch. You're going to need compelling titles that everyone's talking about, and you titles that you can't miss, titles that
Yep.
are game of the year nominees and winners. Like that,
Yep.
those are the type of titles that any platform needs, and it can't just be one.
One.
It
I was
has
gonna
to
say
be
that.
consistent,
Mo-
right?
In my video, I gave them a number of between 8 to 12 titles in a row.
Mhm.
Like if they can get to that number,
That's what they
then
need.
they could start thinking about exclusivity again.
Yeah.
But people say, well, we don't know that. Fuck you mean? We do know that. Indiana Jones, Doom, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Halo itself. These titles all came out to nothing. Like people were like, oh yeah, it's good, but
That's what
nobody.
exactly.
They
That's what
weren't
I'm saying,
nominated
Will.
for anything. They weren't, the games came out. If they were talked about
Hmm.
online, it's for console warring. It wasn't, people was talking, somebody was talking shit about Horizon. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but in my Discord, we're still talking about Horizon. We're either talking
Yep.
about that crazy boss fight in the DLC. We're talking about the clouds, that they reamp for the DLC. We're talking about the graphics. We're talking about with Horizon just because you. And the other one that people try talking
Yep.
shit about is Sorrows and how supposedly it sold
Yeah.
200 grand. It's like, well, we don't know if it did sell that amount, but let's say it
Exactly.
is a
Yeah.
flop. What? A couple flops? Now exclusives don't matter because of a couple flops? Since, like, what do you. Anyways, let's keep it to the business at hand. It's just ridiculous, man. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things that and look, and then the first thing I said in my video is I showed, because I don't know if you know this, but I got Lego Batman on Xbox.
Mhm.
Um, I fucked up. There was a last week or a week and a half ago where Warrior64 tweeted out that if you buy the digital code of Lego Batman through Walmart, people
Yeah.
were playing the game. Well, I couldn't help myself and I did it
Oh.
and it failed. So it fucked up everything for
Oh
me.
no,
I
Will.
was supposed to do a Will Play with No Internet
Oh.
video. I was, what I mean, make content from it. So in the beginning of my video, I literally showed my TV with Lego Batman loaded up because at the end of the
Mhm.
day, okay, I got it on Xbox. The thing that really hurt me the most, honestly, was that it was digital. I don't like spending that much on digital games. That was the thing that hurt me the most. But either way, I'm okay. I'm playing on my Xbox, not a big deal. But something that I had to do last week in preparedness for Lego Batman was I have the rechargeable batteries for my controllers. I got a Series S in my son's room. I got a Series X in my room, right next to the PS5 Pro. But these rechargeable batteries, they weren't working properly. They weren't holding charge. So I was like, you know what? I don't play on my Xbox enough. Let me just buy regular batteries. So I did. I went on Amazon. I spent $20. I got like 30 batteries. But while I was putting them in, I was like, I can't believe this. We're in 2026, halfway through 2026, by the way. We're over we're over the halfway point of the 2020s decade, going into 2030, and we're still putting fucking batteries in a controller. Like Xbox, what is this?
No,
So
that is
when
the
you,
superior way, man. You don't like them
yeah,
double A's?
so I did research, and basically, people are getting roughly 60 hours on a set of batteries. Bro, that's one video game for me. That's Yakuza. I play Yakuza, and now I gotta put a new pair of batteries. So if I go buy a game, I gotta calculate the cost of batteries for that game too. Like, no, man, get the fuck out of here. And I know we pay for it, with the energy bill at home when we recharge the shit, but it's like, anyways. But the reason I bring that up is because if we're talking hardware, just because you have good exclusives, it doesn't mean that you have to slack on your hardware either. And that's why I bring up the batteries is because not only do you have mid exclusives or you had, but your hardware is also lacking in a couple different ways. And the last thing I'll say before I pass it back to Morgan is I talked to you guys earlier about how I went to that video game show in my city. and I said this on the podcast before, but for Morgan to hear, there was you can try all sorts of different consoles, all the way from like anything you can think of was there. Well, me and my son, we ended up spending a majority of our time while testing all these consoles on a Panasonic something. I don't even know what it's called. In my mind, for about 10 seconds, I thought about, damn, I should buy one of these. Not because I liked the console. I didn't even know what it looked like because it was behind a gate. I wasn't even really looking. But because I wanted to play that game that you could only play on that console. So even though this console is over 30 years old, it's still selling me on the fucking console because the game was that good. That is the power of exclusives. Why do we go back and buy GameCubes? Because there's games we can only play on GameCube. Why do we go back and try to buy a retro console, PS1, no, it wasn't a 3DO. It was X something, and it could not have been Panasonic. It could have been something else, but it's because of exclusive games, guys. This console generation, Morgan, and I want to hear yours too, because this console generation, as I do every console generation, I let them sell me. I don't just buy PlayStation because that's where my library is or because of whatever. No, I look to see what games are going to entice me to buy this console. I'm old school. If I go from Nintendo to the Super Nintendo, I know that my games ain't backwards compatible. Super Nintendo to N64, N64 to GameCube, GameCube to Nintendo Wii U, I know my games ain't compatible. This whole backwards compatibility thing is a newer thing. So I am still of that mind. If I'm going to buy a PS6, I don't expect my games to be compatible. Now I do because it's way different. But during this gen, I didn't have that mentality, and I still kind of don't for the next one. It'd be nice, right? But either way, when I look at the Xbox lineup versus the PlayStation lineup, it was night and day. And that's how I made my choice. Then the cherry on top is, oh, the controller does this, the controller does that, it's got this, it's got that. Yeah, that sealed the deal for me. But how was it for you this console generation, Morgan? Were you kind of like me, where you were hoping that they would sell you on the console, or were you going PlayStation no matter what?
PlayStation's always my first choice, but I always wait to see what I'm gonna see, obviously, right? Because this is big money at the end of the day, right? You're spending
Mm-hmm.
at launch $500. So, I was excited to see both of their initial launch showcases. So, we started off with PlayStation, and like I think after the what was it, the GTA 5 remaster, that's when
Yeah.
Jim Ryan was like, all right, well, now we're gonna let the games do the talk. And I was like, oh, okay, okay, all
Mm-hmm.
right, that's big talk. Let me let me see what you got. And then like I think the first game they showed after that was the Miles Morales. The yeah, Marvel's Miles Morales,
Yeah.
when and that first of all, I love Miles Morales, and
Me
again,
too.
I'm also a big Spider-Man fan. Loved Spider-Man 2018. So when they showed off that they were making a spin-off Miles solo game, I was like, oh hell yeah.
Yep.
And it looked so good. It was like
So good.
PS5 exclusive, like the particle effects, the him flipping the suit, everything. He had to fade. I was like, oh my god, yes, yes. They sold me just on that right there. But then they showed like Sackboy, which I'm a big fan of. So I got, that was a big one. I didn't really care about Demon Souls because I'm not like you. I'm
Yeah.
not a Souls fan. But I thought the remake looked great. I was like, okay, the quality of it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then of course the pre-install of Astrobot,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah,
was
dude.
great though.
Believe it or not, I was so hyped for Astro Bot. It's actually the second game I played because the first game I played was Shadow of Mordor.
Oh,
Speaking of
okay,
Lord of
yeah,
the Rings, but yeah,
yeah, yeah.
dope lineup.
Yeah, it was really good. So I was like, okay, Astro's Playroom, which obviously led to the Astrobot game, which is fucking phenomenal. Um, and then yeah,
Dude, I remember.
so that was like I can't remember. I think there was other stuff that was shown, but
Yeah, there were a few other games. I remember actually. This is back when I watched TV in my room. I took the TV out of my room. 2020. I can't be staying up till fucking 1 in the morning watching TV when I gotta get up for work in the morning. So I took that bitch out. But I remember sitting on my little sofa couch in my bedroom watching the announcement of the PS5 like at 2 in the morning because I got woken up by an alert from Warrior 64 saying that the PS5 was available for
yo,
purchase
yes,
at Kohl's, which I don't know if you guys know what Kohl's is, but it's like
it's yo.
like a mini
When I
Sears.
tell you, yeah, yeah, I know. I
So I'm
remember
there trying to
fighting
buy
for
it.
my life to get that PS5.
Oh my god.
Yo, the way you had to fight at launch to get them, and the fact if you didn't get it at launch, you were waiting or you were buying from a scalper because they were just so hard to get, right? Coming off of COVID-19 and everything like that, like gaming just
Hmm.
being, at its all-time high at that point, and people just fighting for these new consoles. I lucked out, like I couldn't get it like in the first wave that like I think they initially sold them at like Amazon or something like that, and they tried like Target, and I just kept trying and I just couldn't get one, right? And then I finally was just like, all right, one more time. They're doing it at Best Buy. Let me see if I can get it. And after like 20 minutes of refreshing the screen, I finally got one in my cart. It was crazy. But yeah, that was a crazy launch. But then, it's Xbox's turn. They
Yep.
show their lineup and basically nothing is launching on that
No.
thing. It's just all future. This is
Yep.
coming out in the future. I
Yep.
was just like, Xbox,
Yep.
no.
Yeah, well, people
Yeah.
talk about the Xbox tax. I'm like, that's the Xbox tax. When in 2021, I think it was, Xbox won like Publisher of the Year award when they didn't even publish anything that fucking year. But when the PS5 came out, not only did we get those bangers from PlayStation, but we also got the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, PS5, Call of Duty Black
Bro.
Ops Cold War,
You remember
Godfall, which looked flashy as fuck.
the Valhalla PS5 versus Xbox?
Oh
Everybody was coming
yeah,
off of the fact that, Xbox had all
yes,
the CPU and all this. Oh
yeah,
man, they're gonna dog walk PlayStation, bro. They got,
yeah,
it eats monsters for breakfast. And then the Digital Foundry did the comparison, and
yeah.
Xbox's was worse.
Bro,
I was like, oh no.
I actually bought Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This is when everybody started with the whole same day delivery, and I bought it on GameStop, and GameStop dropped off the
Mm-hmm.
game. I remember I woke up in the morning and I was literally watching the Digital Foundry. I didn't have an Xbox at the time, but I remember watching the Digital Foundry video doing a comparison, and I just got motivated. I'm like, you know what? I love Vikings, and I actually love that game. I got like 200 and some hours in Valhalla. But
Mm-hmm.
I got on my phone, placed the order for Valhalla. They dropped it off like a couple hours later. I go to my front door, excited, with my coffee in hand, and they dropped me off the Xbox version of Valhalla. And I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
Yo.
Anyway, so this was, I had to get in my car, drive all the way to fucking, and the GameStop that had it was like across town. So I had to drive like 20 minutes to drop it off. But yeah, similar situation as you. I ended up buying my PlayStation 5, and because remember, everybody was bundling everything back then, scalpers and stores. So I paid $800 for my
Oh yeah.
PS5
Would you
from
get a couple
GameStop.
controllers,
Yeah, I
three
got two
games, and
controllers, the
some
Spider-Man
headphones?
games, PS Plus gift card, the
I
charging
hated that shit.
station. It
I
was
hated
like,
that
but you
shit.
know what? I was so happy, and my PS5 came like, I think it was a week before Christmas. So it was like I didn't get it day one. It came out November what 20th or something like that. I got it like a week or two before Christmas, and that was the hardest like
Mm-hmm.
time up till Christmas because
Oh
I
damn.
wanted to open it with my son. My son was like 4 years old, five, so he believed in Santa still, and I
Oh.
was trying to so yeah, it was super hard for me. But you know what? I'm always gonna remember that forever. I remember my PS4 when I bought that as well because it was such a hassle because they were sold out everywhere. And I ended up buying it from some dude on Craigslist who was selling two. And me and my buddy were looking one. And this was the sketchiest shit because he was some little white suburban kid who was with these two big buff black dudes and he owed them money. So you could tell like he stole his mom's credit card or something. And they were there like,
Oh
hurry the fuck
shit.
up, go get the money. And me and my guy, David, shout out to David if he ever hears this. And like we can hold our own. Like we ain't too worried, but we're like, it's sketchy. You know what I mean? So we're like, damn. And then we figure out what's going on. I'm like, damn, bro, you fucked up. He's like, yeah, bro, I fucked up. So you sold us two PS4s with two controllers each for $800, so $400 a piece. And that was my story on getting the PS4. Otherwise, if I would have walked into a GameStop, I wouldn't remember how I got that motherfucker. Same thing with the PS3. I don't remember how I got that motherfucker. I just know that that was the first console I paid myself, right? Not mommy
Okay.
and daddy. I actually went to the store and bought it. It was a lot of fucking money. I don't remember if
Mm-hmm.
I went to Target. I don't remember if I went to Walmart. I
Oh
don't
man.
remember. PS2, that was a Christmas gift from mom and dad. I was a early teenager. And 64, mom and dad. Super Nintendo, mom and dad. The
Mm-hmm.
PS5 is the only one that I remember specifically. Hell, I just told you was up at 2 in the morning trying to pre-order or order it from Kohl's, and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get it. I actually ended up getting it the next day on a Sunday, while my mom was over here cooking dinner at my house because she was having plumbing issues at her house. Like, look how specific I'm getting with the PS5. I can't remember, like, this kid from Best that we met, and we actually met at a Best Buy parking lot. I don't remember what day it was, how long between the releases. Like, I just know I met him at nighttime. He was with these two dudes that were buff as fuck, pressuring his ass to fucking sell this shit so they can get paid. That's it. That's how impactful the PS5 is for a lot of people. Oh shit. But
Yep.
very
I remember
cool
exactly where I was when I was
stories
getting it.
from and Morgan's even luckier because Morgan, with her fucking bougie ass, actually got a PS5 Pro third 20th or is it 30th anniversary
Uh-huh.
edition. One
Yeah.
out of five in the world, and she got one. Who do you know at Sony? Are you like Colin? You can just pick up the phone and get the hookup like that?
Bruh, all I know is my finger was tired as hell of hitting that refresh button. Like I refused to give up. Like it kept saying sold out. I was like, no, ain't no way. Ain't no way. I just kept hitting refresh. And for some reason it was like, okay, here you go. And I was like, wait, what?
Is that
Like
your
I
daily?
what?
The
Oh yeah, yeah.
PS5?
Oh yeah, the pro? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's my daily. I love
What
it.
you
Yeah,
do
it's my daily.
with your old PS5?
It's sitting beside my pro.
Oh, okay,
It's
so you
just
still got it.
yeah, yeah, I still got it. It's just sitting there.
Damn, bro. How long did it take for them to ship it out to you and you get it in your hands?
Cause I don't, I think, what was it? They came, or they said it was November, I think I want to say that
Oh yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
came.
You're right.
Yeah, so that's when it came, the November of the 2024,
I just
right?
remember sending you a
2025.
DM saying like, "Hey, is it cool if I make a video with your pictures and stuff?" I was so hyped for you, bro. I was because like it was like one of us got it. You know what I mean? Like one
Yeah,
of
yeah.
us, which
Honestly, the way PlayStation handled that was terrible because if you're gonna do an anniversary edition, you need to be making sure that these are people who are
yeah,
been a part of the community, and that's easily can be implemented if somebody has had access to a PlayStation account for a certain number of years or
yep.
bought a certain number of games. Like, I don't understand why they just opened it up for anybody, because then a bunch of scalpers got in, a bunch of people who don't even play PlayStation got one. It was just it was a mess, and I honestly don't like the way they handled it. It was
Well,
terrible.
bro, Steam just did something similar. I mean, they didn't do it, but with the
Yes.
controller after the first batch, then they
After,
started to
yeah.
do the email thing. If you bought a game
Mm-hmm.
before April 20 something, which I of course
Yep.
did, but they do that
Yep.
all the time, bro, with their collector's edition. And since I'm always because the PS5 trained me. I'm gonna be real. The trying to get that motherfucker trained me on how to manage these things, bro. I can almost get anything I want that's limited release because that was a tough time, man. I'm a veteran of the PS5 war. And even then, now they just make it so difficult. You figured after half a decade of selling shit this way, because we never really went back to the old ways. Like it ain't like you can go to a store and pre-order this shit anymore. Now it's all
Mm-hmm.
done online, and even with a lot of physical games, you can only pre-order online.
Yep.
They still don't got this shit worked out. But that just what's going back to the whole security thing. That's just them not giving a fuck, and
Yeah,
not PlayStation.
absolutely.
Everybody,
Absolutely.
nobody gives a fuck.
It's so easy to take just simple steps to implement to make sure that it's smooth and the process is simple for your customers. And you would think that's something that they would want, right? Because you want as many people as possible to buy your product. That's kind of the
Yeah,
point of selling a product. So you would think that you would put in, it would implement some sort of queue or organized fashion in which people can get things and put priority on those who have supported you for
yep.
years, because this is what you're doing. This is an anniversary product. It is a celebration of 30 years of PlayStation. So you should be
Hmm.
prioritizing people who have been with you for like the longest. It just didn't make sense to me that they just opened it up. Like, I'm not saying other people can't come in, but I'm saying there should have been priority for the people who have been supporting PlayStation. They should be
Facts.
first in line to try to be able to get these things. But
Big facts.
PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a couple years. Oh, when the PS5 Pro got announced, that's when I kind of gave up on like PlayStation. Like I still use them every day, right? They're my preferred console, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't have the same fire for them. And the thing that did it was when, which we still don't have till today, is the covers for the Pro. When the
Bro,
only difference between a slim, hey, what's up, Jenna, is a clip between a slim and a pro. It's just the clips. That
something again so simple that could be done, like, and you refuse to let other companies do it, right? They were
and
suing
then
B brand for
huh.
trying to make plates for their thing, and I'm like,
Yep.
okay, that's cool, it's your company, it's your copyright, trademark, whatever. But
Hmm.
I if you're doing that, that means that you have your own to sell.
Yep.
And it's like they just refuse when it comes to the pro to really do anything outside of like the basic colors. And it's just like, okay,
Yep.
well, nothing else. Like even when they've released plates after the pro for like, Yote and things like that, there was like barely there was no pro version. I was like, bro, what are you what
Yep.
are you doing, bro?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I
And
don't get it.
that's when oh, what's up, Jenna? Yeah, I beat this game already. I'm just playing it right now while we stream. But yeah, that's and from that moment on, because that wasn't an accidental thing. Sony is too smart, right? They
Mm-hmm.
man, they're just like Nintendo, they're smart. Something like that from Xbox, I would be like, yeah, that was a fuck up. But
Mm-hmm.
with PlayStation, they're smart. They know, and they did it on purpose. And it'd be one thing if they did it on purpose, and then a month later they announce a whole bunch of colorways that we can
Mm-hmm.
buy from, and they still haven't. So I remember just like being so irritated, and then they didn't give us a disc drive. They didn't even give us a stand, and it's like, and you guys are
Bro.
asking for $700.
They threw in that little plastic ass stand. So here you go.
Yeah. So I up to that point I had every cover available, every colorway for the OG PS5.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I started selling them on eBay. I sold my 30th anniversary PS5 Slim. I sold a couple
Oh shit.
controllers. Like I'm just kind of over them. Like I'm not going to invest in a company that doesn't even give us basic things that we need. Like where the fuck is my Horizon plates, my God of War plates? Like before they used to come up with a whole fucking console.
Dude.
Now with
You
something as
remember the
simple as plates,
PS4? Like they had the craziest
bro.
theme
Mm-hmm.
consoles. Like that fucking Death Stranding one, that gold, like
So
the
fire.
hand, the Spider-Man all
All
red with the
red.
white symbol.
Yeah. Even the Call of
Like,
Duty ones were dope.
I'm like, where's that creativity when it comes
No.
to the customization within PlayStation? I
To
don't
a
understand it because these plates, they're plastic.
five dollars,
There's no way they could buy that. They probably buy that shit in bulk for like, buy a 1,000 plates for like
bro.
$20 or some shit. There's
Easy.
no way this costs anywhere near as
Nah,
expensive
what
as they're
makes
trying to
this
make it.
works is that it's in today's world shit is so customizable. Like you don't even gotta make the shit till you get an order. Like look at Etsy. Like this shit don't even get made till there's actual money and an order placed. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is just so ridiculous. But once again, PlayStation is making the most money ever, right? They're making the most profit on the console, the most on, and it's like they don't have to do the
And
little
this,
things.
honestly, Will, is why was one of the reasons, but was one of the reasons why I was so happy to see Valve release the Steam Machine, because
Mm-hmm.
there needs to be some more competition in this
Yep.
console space.
Yep.
They have been smelling their shit for too long, and especially after Xbox gave up and started putting their games on PlayStation was like, well shit, we ain't gotta do shit.
Yep.
Like, the competition's folding to us, right? Switch is, obviously Nintendo's there, but Nintendo's kind of like in their own lane,
Yeah.
right? It's seen as a
Nintendo.
companion console. It's not really
Yeah.
a threat at dominating PlayStation in the the hardcore space. So, but it was just, I was so happy because I'm like, this is exactly what PlayStation needs. They need, and especially because Valve is a private company, they do a lot more. They can get away with a lot more things as far as pro consumer moves
Mm-hmm.
than
Yeah.
people or companies like PlayStation
They don't got
and Xbox. They,
stockholders.
exactly, they don't have to answer to anybody, so they're able to make moves much quicker,
Yep.
which will put PlayStation and Sony on the defense. They have to react, they have to move accordingly. We've already seen their move with the pulling games, or I gotta stop saying pulling games, stop putting games on PC. I'm pretty sure that was one of their reactions to the Steam Machine and obviously Xbox going to PC, right? This was a move, strategy to make the competition less desirable, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping Steam comes out full force, customization,
Oh,
Pulling
they
punches,
do.
third party support.
They do.
Yeah,
They.
because you see the faceplate changes that
Mm-hmm.
you could do for that. It looks fucking phenomenal, right? I'm getting a Steam machine, so it's just like, the game support and the thing with, the ease of use with Steam OS and the ability for them to kind of pass a lot of the red tape quicker when it
Yep.
comes to approving games and getting games out. Like, I need Steam to come out here in full force, because PlayStation, again, sitting on their laurels way too much.
Yep.
They need somebody who's going to come in and not give a shit and kick them in their ass.
Yep.
Put a little fire under them so that they can come back as humble Sony again,
Yep.
and that hungry Sony that they were during the that I need from them.
Mm-hmm. And Jenna, let me ask you a question real quick because she brought up a good question, and I think this is something that a lot of hardcore gamers forget. She said, "How is the Steam Deck supposed to compete with the PlayStation when the PlayStation or the Steam Deck is less
The
powerful?"
upscaling tech in
Well,
the
not
Steam
just
machine.
that, but most people don't give a fuck. Like we care
That's
because we
true.
talk about it, but most people, does the game work? Yes. All right, cool. Like throughout, if you're in your 30s, you've been gaming for over 30 years. How many of us even cared that most games on the Super Nintendo and 64 shit like that were running at 60 frames per second?
I
Like
didn't care about that shit
nobody.
till this generation. Like,
Yeah,
when I was started paying attention to like digital
paying
found things and
attention.
stuff like that.
When I'm
But
spending
before
way
that, I
more
didn't give a shit.
money. Yeah, nobody. My cousin, he owns a PS5. He's a casual gamer. He plays God of War, Call of Duty, 2K. That's it, and Spider Man. He doesn't even know
Yep.
what FPS means.
That is literally my brother. Like, I had to explain to him. He still don't really understand. I had to go into his settings for his PS5, because he bought a PS5 when Spider-Man 2 came out, because that's when he bought a
Mm-hmm.
PS4, is when Spider-Man 2018 came out.
Yep.
He's, like I said, he's a big Marvel fan, and that kind of pushed him. He was always kind of going to get a PS5, but that was the thing that made him, okay, this is the day I'm getting it, right? And I had to go into his settings, and you know how you go into settings and set all games to either be default quality
Yep.
mode or default performance. I had to go in there and set all of them default performance, because I know he doesn't understand going into the settings of the game and switching it over to performance mode. He doesn't get that. I showed him the difference, and he does understand, okay, this mode is smoother, and he
Mm-hmm.
liked the way it looked more in performance mode, but he don't understand what that means. So
No.
I just went into settings, I set it to default performance, so that at least he gets what he's paying for. You're paying for a PS5, so he don't have to worry about messing with it when he turns his game on. But that's how
Facts.
casual he is. He don't care. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't give a shit.
Can he play Spider Man? Yes or no? That's the question. Is it gonna break down, or is it gonna shut down, crash? Those are the things that they're gonna
Yeah,
care about.
that's all he cares about.
But yeah, no, I'm with Morgan. There just needs to be more competition. It's just healthy, especially for us. We're the ones who benefit out of it. And look, I don't know how many people are just like me, but I went from buying, you know, every special edition, every game day one, to now it's like I'm not even bothered by it. And yeah, I'm just one guy, but I just did the math actually a couple weeks ago and talking to my accountant. From 2020 to 2024, I was spending about $1,500 a year on PlayStation. I went
Yep.
from
Yep.
$1,500 to this year. We're halfway done with the year. I'm at 200 and like something dollars.
Oh
So
shit.
if we do double that for the rest of the year, I'll be at under $400. And the reason I spent 200 some dollars because I bought Sorrows day one, and what I forgot what the other thing was, but whatever. And I haven't included digital games where Sony gets their cut. But as you guys know, I buy my games physical, so I'm not, they're not really getting much there from me. But
Mm.
yeah, I went from buying everything, man. Dude, I have a charging station. I got the remote. I bought the remote twice where you can handle your PS5 like a TV remote. I bought that motherfucker
Oh yeah.
twice. I
Mm.
bought the VR day one. I
Mm.
like and I stopped that. And I stopped that because I got so disillusioned with what they're offering that it's not worth for me to give them my money anymore. And on top of that, collector's editions that are physical don't have physical games. Like, bro, you guys
Yeah.
are digital. You made up your
The
mind.
digital code is in the box.
It's like, no, people try to justify it. Once again, the ponies justifying it. Well, there's digital consoles out there and physical. I'm like, that's complete. What? That doesn't mean shit to me. That's not my fucking problem.
You should
And
be able to choose your option.
you
Like,
should,
okay, would you like a digital
exactly.
version or a physical?
And not just that. You're buying a digital game, my guy. You gave up the physical option. So why are you wanting physical shit to go with your digital fucking game? Go to fucking Walmart and buy a Spider-Man fucking doll or something like that. You know what I mean? It just pisses me the fuck off, bro.
Not the Spider-Man doll.
And look, I may be a little selfish by saying that, which I really don't think I am, but I can understand how some people may perceive that because, like, well, I love Spider Man. I would like a Spider Man collector's edition. It's a physical video game edition. You are digital. But the reality of this whole shebang is that PlayStation is doing the least. And I didn't find out about the physical thing on the collector's edition until I bought Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh shit.
That's when I found out. I didn't know. That was my, and by the way, that was my first ever collector's edition I ever bought in my life.
Oh, I
I've,
know you were pissed. Oh shit.
bro, I was confused. I called GameStop. I was like, hey, man, like, I don't know if you guys like my game is not in here. And I'm just thinking like how it's gonna go. Sir, the game is in there. You're cheating
Mm.
us. You just want another copy. Like I'm like, fuck, like, but no, I found out that it didn't. And that was such a special moment for me because my whole life, or not my whole life, but my a young, from child to early adult, I didn't have the money, man. We grew up, at the lowest bottom half of middle class, and I only got one game a year, maybe two, right? That was my birthday and Christmas. Like
Mm-hmm.
I got more socks for my birthday than any type of other gifts, right? Underwear, socks. If there was an event at the house, they would use a birthday celebration to use that event so that they have to pay double the money. So when I used to see all these people getting collector's edition of whatever or the PS4 Spider-Man, you know what I mean? Like all this, like I would just be sitting there feeling left out for decades of my life because I couldn't afford it. And the first time that I'm in a good position, I got money, I can do it, and I go do this, and PlayStation didn't even put the fucking disc in there. It's like, what? It's like that was extremely disappointing. But you know what? I kept going at it. I started selecting collector's editions that did have the physical disc on there. All of them were non-PlayStation, and most of them don't have, but some still do. And I just kept moving that way. But now I'm at the point with PlayStation where like, yeah, I love their product. I love the games that they make, but I'm not gonna go above and beyond for them because they don't go above and beyond for me. And I don't even want them to go above and beyond. I just want them to do something. And especially during the whole live service push, I really felt alienated from PlayStation. I felt like they didn't even want me to be their customer anymore. But like Nelson said, where am I supposed to go? Where? I can't go to Xbox. Xbox don't have the
Damn.
games that I want. I just bought Yoshi and the mystery book. They definitely don't got the games that I want. So it's like, where am I supposed to go? And that's the sad shame about it. So now I just do the bare minimum, buy the bare minimum, buy the shit that I can't get elsewhere, and keep it moving like that.
Yeah, I really hope this state of play helps revive some of that for you. I hope they show up a lot of first
There's
party single player.
I'm over it.
Oh,
You can
well,
never. It's like girlfriends. They break up with me. They're like, you don't chase me. It's like if it's over, it's over. Like it is what it
no.
is. You know what I mean?
So for you at this point, PlayStation, there's nothing they can do to win you
Nah.
back.
I mean,
Oh
they have me. They
damn.
have me.
Yeah, but nothing to get you to that point that you were
Nah, never.
basically.
That will never
Right.
happen again.
Oh.
It's just over. Yeah.
Oh.
And sometimes it's to my own detriment. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I use this story all the time. I'll say this last thing and we'll head out. I know Morgan's got shit to do, but I just got out the military and I got one of my first big boy jobs, making big boy money. And I had just started, so I was still broke. And my
Mhm.
my best friend growing up, and my best friend he's ambidextrous, so he uses his right and left. And he got signed to a single A contract with the Boston Red Sox when we were teenagers. And instead of continuing on, he decided to go to college, and he ended up drinking and partying and lost his scholarship. But he hits
Damn.
me up one day while I'm at work in my suit and tie and shit, all excited for work. And he's like, "Hey, bro, I got to pay this dude back for an ounce that I got fronted. It's $200. If I don't get it to him, he's gonna whoop my ass." And I was like, "Look, bro, the light bill is due for me this week, but you know what? If you say you're going to pay me back by Friday, come scoop the money up. And I had a roommate at the time, and my roommate would just give me his half of of the bills and shit. So he
Mhm.
came back. I gave him my debit card. He's like, I'll be right back. He went, pulled the money out, brought the debit card back. Well, Friday comes around. Where the fuck is he? He never showed up. Never gave me my money back.
Damn.
And my lights were
Oh.
shut off for like a week. I'm scrounging. I
Shit.
wasn't mad that my lights were off. I wasn't mad that my roommate was pissed. I was mad because he couldn't even tell me and say, hey, man, I can't get it to you by Friday. Something came up.
Mm.
He just completely ignored me. To this day, he has tried so many different times to get that same friendship out of me, and I refuse. The
Did he
point,
ever pay you back?
no, he's
Oh
offered,
wow.
but I'm like, what the fuck is $200? Like, I don't give a fuck about $200. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, whatever. So stick it up your fucking ass. But the point is once somebody makes me feel a certain way, I'm over it. I'm over it. Doesn't matter. Fucking NFL. I stopped watching NFL during the whole fucking problems that they had in the whatever 10 years ago. I think at this point, MLB or my favorite sport, baseball. I used to buy MLB The Show every single year. If I reacted on my Facebook, you will see me in front of GameStop picking up MLB The Show every single year since that fucking game came out. I stopped buying those too. If I get over something, I get over something. And PlayStation did this to themselves, not in one thing that they did, but over a lot of things that they've done. They got rid of the single player, well, they didn't get rid of them, but they slowed down tremendously on the shit. They focus on live service shit. Then they kind of, started treating us with less importance, less quality of less quality in their products, not giving us the accessories that we've all been asking for. Their pricing structure on the PS Store, getting rid of the fucking, PS Store gift cards you used to be able to buy, where you used to be able to get them a little bit cheaper if you bought them somewhere else. Um, just all these little things amounted up to that moment when the PS5 Pro came out, where I really felt shafted. Not because it was $700, which, yeah, that was part of the reason, but I'm like, damn, you can't even give me a little something like a little, hey, if you're you know if you buy the physical version of the Pro, we'll sell it to you for 750. It's like, damn, give us a little bit of something. But nope, it's like, all right, you got to buy the PS5 Pro for 700, you got to buy the stand separately, and you got to buy the disc drive separately, which really ended up costing you $810 for the Pro. And I'm like, damn, you couldn't charge me $799 with all these things. Like, just a little something, $10, not even that. Can't even get plates for it. We can't even get this, can't even get that. We've been asking for this, asking for that. This whole account shit security system, it's all fucked up. They haven't even said anything about that. They haven't said, it took them a week to say something about the whole DRM shit, which they said something because it affected their fucking money. That's the only time they jump to something. Otherwise, they don't communicate with us. The only time we hear from them is when they do a state of play. They let us know a day or two in advance. Then they get up there, talk like everything's all fine and dandy. Don't answer any fucking questions that we've been talking on podcasts and reading articles for the last 6 months as the previous state of play. They still haven't told us that they are no longer doing showcases. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much miscommunication from them, and I think a lot of it has to do with their success. And I feel like this console generation has been the worst in regards to communication with us and giving us less for more, but yet they are the least or the most or the least communicative this generation. The PS4, I feel like they were constantly out there talking to people, doing shows. CEO was always up there front and forward. With COVID, they went to like the video version of their state of plays and showcases. They stayed that way. They no longer do appearances. Um, they switched it all up. And in their mind, they're saying,
Mhm.
well, we got all this money. We're making more money than ever. And it's working because it's all for the bottom dollar. It's working. So are they going to get better? Probably not, because it's working. Why fuck up what you have going on for yourself when things are going so well? But that's it. Anything else you want to say, Morgan?
Um, no, like you're right. It really started with COVID. Like I think they kind of learned that they could cut corners, like, with the world being digital and people not having to come in, not having to pay for venues anymore. Because that was like, especially with the death of E3 and they realizing it would be, well, you know what? It's actually a lot cheaper for
Mm-hmm.
us to just to do our own showcases. Huh. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not going to go to the venues anymore and pay for those. Yeah, we're good. And then just after, ever since that, corners just started getting cut. And like you said, they're making more money than ever. So they're just like, why? Why would we change that?
Yep.
you know, this is why competition, I keep telling you, competition is necessary,
Yep.
people. It's
Important.
necessary because these companies will not change on their own. They're not going to do something out of the kindness of their heart. Like, we've noticed that, we haven't been talking to you guys and we want to change that. Like, nah, it's going to take real competitors cutting into their funds, cutting into their wallet to get them to get back on track. And that's why I'm so happy. I'm like, hurry up, Steam Machine, come out,
Yeah, I
do
was
it,
really
do it now.
hoping that Nintendo would be it this year or this generation that would actually give them a run for their money,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't. And look, I'm also part of the problem here, right? Because when the Switch 2 came out, the only well, not the only, but the biggest reason I went and bought that thing was because with how things are going, my son is 10. The next PlayStation that comes out, he was 9. The next PlayStation that comes out will probably be 12 or 13 years old. And we don't even know if they're going to do midnight releases for this shit or none of that. So the reason I went to go pick up that Switch day one, which I didn't pre-order or nothing, I just went, and if they had one, I would have bought it. If not, oh well. But it was to give my son that experience of waiting in line, the excitement, all that we get on a midnight release of a new
Oh
console.
man, a midnight release is so fucking
Hmm.
fun.
And that's why I did it. Literally, I had work the next day. He had school. I didn't even plan on it. We just like, oh shit, Switch comes out in fucking 20 minutes, an hour. Come on, let's go. And we did. We waited in line. We happened to get one. And that's why I did it. And that's a memory me and him will forever share. And I don't know if the next PS6 will have one of those because things are now going such a different way than what we're used to. So that's why I'm saying I'm part of the problem is because they're switching things up, and instead of saying no, I still went out there and I bought the Switch too. I still did it the way that they're doing it now, which is, you know, my fault, my bad. It should start with me if I want changes to happen. But I have been slowly but surely making changes in my life on how I do business with video game companies. Remember when everybody talked about stop pre-ordering games because they're coming out buggy, broken messes? But yeah, everybody pre-orders games, and it's just a fucked up
Yep.
situation they put
I
us
I
in.
am a perpetrator of that.
I mean, so am I.
I fall for it, especially if they have early access. I'm like, ooh,
So am I.
yeah.
I mean, my reason is a little bit different. Is because it's physical. Physical ain't always guaranteed. So
Hmm.
therefore, you know what I mean? But they put us in these positions where it's like, fuck, you either stick to your principles or you bend them or break them to get access to something you want. And it's just a fucked up thing. But either way, that's all we got for you guys today, man. Thank you so much, Morgan, for hanging out past my 2 hours that I said I was
Of
gonna do.
course.
It's always a fun time. We're supposed to have 4 people today. We're supposed to have Nelson, Morgan, and Rome, but Rome hit me up. He'll be back on probably next week, so that'll be cool. But instead, it was just me and Morgan. I know she did not just want to be here with me today, but
Man,
that's what she
stop,
got.
stop.
Um, there's only so much that our like of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and video games can do, to support somebody, and that you're stuck within the same room. After that, it's like, what is it? A dead body starts to smell after 3 days. So thank you, Morgan, for putting up with me, and thank you for coming through.
Of course,
But
of
Morgan,
course.
where can
It's
people
always a
find
good
you?
time. Oh man, should I say? I don't know with the security situation, but you can always find me on PlayStation. If you know, you know. I'll just say that.
Don't give them
I'm
your
gonna be gaming
email.
because yeah, you're right. Nothing personal, but yeah, I am gonna be gaming all week because like I said earlier when I talked about the games I'm playing. I'm juggling like 4 games right now. And then on top of that, 007 drops in like a couple days. So I'll be playing that as well. Um, yeah, just a great time in gaming. And then in a couple weeks, we'll be having our, E3 like events with even more gaming news and more games to be excited about. So, I mean, it's a great time to be a gamer. It's a great time to get into gaming. So, play your games, please. Enjoy your games. Please don't let other people tell you what games to enjoy. Play what you like. Don't let others dictate what your taste is. Um, garner your library. Enjoy your time. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight on the podcast.
What's
So
one game you want
yeah.
to see in the state of play announced or not?
What game do I want to see?
Yep.
Oh, like do I have to do one that's already been announced or like
No, no,
a new
no,
one?
no. Anything you wish.
Mm, shit. I want to see KOTOR. Like I don't want to know
Mm.
what happened with that. Like because initially I think that was another one that they showed at their 2020
Yep.
initial thing, and we know the drama that happened behind the scenes. He had to change hands between developers because of issues going on behind the scenes or something.
Yep.
And I don't even know if PlayStation still has like the publishing rights on that. Like I
I
have
don't
no idea
think
what's
they
going
do.
on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. So I would I would love to see because I'm excited about Photor, the news for that. So
Yeah.
I would love to see what the hell's going on if it's still happening. They said
There.
it's still happening.
Yeah, it's still happening. We just got actually no. Maybe I'm getting confused, but I could have sworn that the new studio head or whatever who's working on the game came out and said
Mm.
that they still are. But now I'm thinking, did he
Yeah.
say they're coming out with KOTOR 3 or something like that? It was like a
Yeah,
new game.
he did say that they were still. Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. He did say KOTOR 3, but I think they did say that they were still working on the original KOTOR remake too.
Okay.
So yeah, I just like I've never
Yeah.
played it, but I've heard such great things about it. So I wanted to experience it firsthand in a remake. So yeah, please give me some
Dude,
updated news on that.
I just got from VGP Video Game Plus over in Canada, which I highly recommend them, but I did get Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 physical.
Mm.
One is like the collector's edition. Well, the problem is they're for the Switch. So,
Oh.
but whatever. I'll dock it and I'll be okay. It's not my preferred place to play. But I
Mm-hmm.
just decided to bring that up because you said something. But what I would like
Okay.
is something that's already announced, but I just want a release date. Like
Mm.
is Ace Combat 8. That is my
Okay.
jam.
Yeah, that's you and an 8 on that. Yeah.
Love Ace Combat. And something that may never even come about, but I would love to see an Uncharted game.
Yeah, I mean there were rumors, right, that there was some Uncharted work being done. I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the games that Naughty Dog was working on. They should. I
I hope.
mean, Uncharted is a beloved franchise within PlayStation, and I think there's still some life left in it. Even if you may have to change protagonists, I think
Yeah, I
they
don't
should.
care. I want to see his daughter. I want to see his daughter
Yeah,
growing up.
I really enjoy watching it. His daughter,
Yeah,
take
I
on
think
the
this is
mantle.
a great opportunity for PlayStation to give Tomb Raider a little bit of run for their money if they play
Mm,
Nathan Drake's daughter right. Especially with her dad and her mom's a beast. Nobody really talks about the mom, but she's also a
mm,
G. She's been there
mm-hmm.
since the first game, right?
Yeah,
Badass journalist, wasn't scared, like was there the whole time.
yeah.
So there's a lot that can happen with both of them combined. But another thing that people really dismiss about the Uncharted games, which kind of pisses me off, they see them as this like high octane action game, which it is,
Mm,
but it's also very emotional. And if I ever gave Neil credit on anything, it's actually the rewriting of Uncharted 4. I think that going with the brothers, loving each other, and doing what they do in that game versus brothers being enemies was definitely the right call.
yeah,
What's her
yeah,
name? Amy Henning, I think is her name, who was in charge of that
yeah.
project.
Yes, yes.
I'm not saying her game would have been bad, but I felt like that little detail would have been I would have got a feeling of like, oh, come on, this is kind of like been there, done that type of deal, and it would have felt much more generic. But I think Neil rewriting it really gave it new life to the IP. And I think that's why Uncharted 4 is one of the most highest rated Uncharted games. Of course, it is because it looks beautiful. It's got the modern graphics and all that. But mind you,
Still
I'm
holds up.
new to Uncharted. Well, new word because I only played. The reason I got a PS3 was for Uncharted, the OG, but I never beat it. It wasn't until my adult life, like 4 or 5 years ago, that I actually beat Uncharted for the first time. And then
Oh
I went
wow.
ahead and beat Uncharted 2, 3, 4, and then the other one with the two women. What's it called?
Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy. Yeah, which I really, really love. I just love every
Dude,
character
I
there.
love Lost Legacy. I
Yep.
would love another Lost Legacy-esque type title from them. Like I really loved Lost Legacy. I play it like at least once a year because I love it so much.
Bro. Yeah.
But yeah, that's but again, this is again I want to see more from Naughty Dog.
But,
They got a lot to make up for.
bro, they need a team. They need three teams minimum. They need one team working on the next big thing. They need another team working on like a double A style type of game. And they need a
Hmm.
third team just keeping up with the IPs they have out. Like, there should be no reason why they can't put out an Uncharted game or a spin-off on Uncharted every 3 years. Like, reuse the assets. It doesn't have to be fucking groundbreaking every single time. Like, remember the PS3, Xbox 360 eras? They would release a whole trilogy in like 4 years, 5 years.
Yep.
Like, I'm not saying we need to go back to that level, but 2 games in 5 years, I think it's doable. Look at fucking FromSoft. They're releasing Souls games every other year because they're reusing assets. I'm not mad at it. Their customers ain't mad at it. They're fucking loving it. Look at Night Rain, how well it did. Look at Elden Ring, how well. Like, these games are
Hmm.
doing extremely well.
See, I agree, but unfortunately, and maybe I guess they shouldn't care, but people always hold not PlayStation to a completely different standard. It's like if there's even a you remember the whole controversy of oh man, God of War is reusing the boat animations. You're like, really?
Yeah.
Like the
But
whole
why was
like
that
he
though?
can't
Because it was
like
5 years between the games. You know what
yeah,
I
that's
mean?
true.
But if you also communicate with people and you lay out the plan and you say, hey guys, we're going to give you those bangers that come out once a decade and are pushing gaming forward and all that, but we're also going to give you a little bit something extra to hold you over, but they just don't communicate. And next thing you know, they drop something and people expectations are super high because they're now used to the game having to be at a certain level every single time. Right. But
Hmm.
if you take away that expectation and if you lay the game plan out, people will accept it and they'll be fine. I think the problem PlayStation has the most is just not communicating enough. Especially this generation, they've done that the most. Like, why hasn't Neil come out and say why is like for all we know, Intergalactic has taken 6 years to make. And part of the reason it's taken forever is because of the live service stuff. If that's not true, come out and say it. Be like, well, in reality, we started working on Intergalactic in 2022. It wasn't
Hmm.
2020 where we started. It's not like when we're done with the game, we're immediately working on another one. No, there's concepts and shit we have to work, but we don't know this shit. So we assume Last of Us Part 2 came out, they immediately start working on Intergalactic, and damn, it's been 6 years, generation's almost over. When in reality, they could have started working on that bitch in 2023. And in
Hmm.
that case, it's only been a couple years. Same thing with
Yeah.
Rockstar. Rockstar hasn't been working on GTA since 2013. They've been working on GTA since 2020. But it
Hmm.
feels like it's been 13 years because that's when the last game came out.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit of both. And I'm not trying to dismiss what you're saying because you're right. People are going to bitch about everything. But remember, we're the minority as is. The hardcore gamer is the minority. These people talking shit are even more of a minority. PlayStation wants to sell to the majority, which is the casual. That is who buys the games in abundance. But either way, that's
It's
either
true.
here or there. We'll see what happens next week, or is it next week or the week after that?
Yeah, week
I'm
after
excited.
next.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they bring for us. I hope we get a release date for Kana Bridge of Spirits.
We
I don't
got
want
to.
to.
We got to.
I don't want to see it in
Like
the showcase. You already told us about it. Put a tweet
oh
out and give us the date, okay? Don't waste that
what?
time on shit we already know. Give
Oh,
us the
I
new
want to
shit.
see some gameplay.
Give us a trailer. You're good.
Oh
Give us a
damn.
trailer. Give us a trailer, put it out like you do on a regular Wednesday ass morning, and then when the game is like, I don't know, a month or two out, then do a state of play. I think that's the rotation they should do. They should announce the game, 6 months out, whatever, a year out, whenever they want to do it. Then keep the marketing by tweeting, posting trailers. And then the last 3 months is when you start posting trailers every couple weeks. And then you do a state of play. You give it 5 minutes, talk about the game, show whatever you want to show, and bam, game is ready for release. Like and the only reason I say that is just because we haven't seen much from PlayStation. But if we were constantly fed, then I'd be right with you. I normally won't don't say this. I normally was like, yeah, I want to see more gameplay, blah blah. But if they show us more gameplay, that's less new games are gonna show us. If that makes any
That's
sense.
true.
And that's the
Got
only
to keep
reason I
that
say
spot
that.
open for fair games, you know.
Got to keep yes for no. What are people saying for break in or
For breaking,
breakout?
right? Right. The new
I,
title.
I swear to God, bro, these motherfuckers act like they got Herman Holtz on the fucking line, and Herman is just like, "Yep, it's called breaking now." These motherfuckers be quoting this shit like it's real. That's the I didn't even read. I'm not gonna get into it, but that's the delusion that Xbox guys have. They think that because they tag Asha, that she's for real taking notes on every fucking tweet she gets about exclusives or about Halo only being on Xbox or Gears. That after a couple of weeks pass by, they have sold themselves the idea so much that they now believe is true. So whenever a little bit of info comes out, like Fable saying, no, we're still coming out on PlayStation 5, they freak the fuck out. Like, oh, I'm leaving Xbox for the 20th time this generation. And they are just going through it over there. But, I'm sorry. Go follow Morgan over at the Otters podcast on YouTube every Saturday at
Mm-hmm.
4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, I believe it is.
Yes.
And also follow her on Twitter or X at Morgan as well. You guys know where to find me. Thank you so much for the support. We'll catch you guys next week. Keep it gaming.
Bye, guys.